Hello and welcome to episode 440 of the DCP Plus Side Quest podcast.
He just said it before we went live, so
That's true,
like,
I
if he
did.
had gotten it wrong, I'd be like, he's 100% screwing with us.
Yeah,
It did take me.
that's
Did you
right.
hear the hesitation of my voice?
You did,
I'm like,
but he just said it like
440?
2 minutes
Welcome
ago.
to the four something.
Nailed it.
a premium podcast for premium gamers.
Mhm.
Yeah. If you have a 5080, I'm sorry, you can't play at 4K, but
No.
I will allow you to watch. I mean, in 1440p.
Well, 1080p for
Maybe
this
try
podcast.
on the when the 6000 series comes out. Maybe you can watch in 4K.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
If you guys are
At
poor,
30 FPS.
if you could listen to this podcast at 20 frames per second, that would be great.
How's everybody doing? Everybody playing Borderlands, having a good time?
It's got all of its hooks in me right now.
Yeah. Before we get
All of
going,
them.
Myelin,
Mm.
fairy bread. Please explain yourself.
Listen, what we do is after the Emu War, we thought we've lost that. We need to get a win. So we went into the bush, the Australian bushland, found some fairies. Said, "Listen here, little shits, make us some breads." They ended up putting sprinkles, a bit of butter on some white bread, bit of sprinkles, or hundreds and thousands. I think we actually call them hundreds and thousands. You call them sprinkles. Actually, they are kind of different. And then that is now a staple at every kid's birthday party, fairy bread.
So it is white
now-
bread, butter,
White bread.
and sprinkles.
Made by fairies.
This is
Made
like
of
a
fairies.
cheap. You're
So-
describing a cheap cupcake, by the way.
Don't insult my whole country, Fran. Okay.
No,
There's
I
no
don't know what this
poverty
is,
I'll
but that's
put
what
you on a. I'll put you on the list, okay? And I'll
Sounds
you
go
got.
Don't
into
Some
Central
Wonder Bread,
Border.
and you put some. What was it?
Margarine.
Butter.
Open
and
your ears. Butter,
Butter and sprinkles.
white bread, butter, hundreds and thousands, which is kind of different from sprinkles. They're like the little round ones. Do you have the little round ones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little-
Like not
Dots.
you know, because sometimes sprinkles are like
They're
almost
usually
like a grain
like-
of rice.
The
Yeah.
small,
Yes.
Yeah, not them. That's incorrect.
yeah.
You need the ones that are
Incorrect.
just little balls,
Yeah.
different colored balls.
We got those
Those
too.
Australians
but they're not
are.
big. They're small.
Yeah, just little dots.
Myelin, how
So
long have we
Australians
known
are
you and you've
enjoying-
never brought up fairy bread? I'm so disappointed. Like, my whole world is
TV
like
is
upside
one-
down.
Has
Like my
a
head-
concern.
yeah, it
Look at
was-
his face.
It's strange. I'm just picturing the Australians enjoying the delicacies plundered in the fairies' bush, and
I'm very positive. Surely this has come up on
I'm
Bluey.
trying not to be
Because I know
judgmental,
TV
but
watches Bluey. Does this not come up on Bluey before?
no, I've never seen a fairies' bush
Yeah,
in
I was
Bluey
gonna say
yet.
that's gonna have to be
Okay,
for the
hold on. I'm
next
gonna give you
episode.
some visual. Gonna give you some visual. See, fairy breads. It looks delicious. White bread. See, it's
so
a
down.
little.
Is that just a slice of toast with sprinkles on it?
I don't think it's
No,
toast,
this looks
TV.
like
I think it's just
toast.
bread.
It's not
It's
toasted
fresh
bread.
bread with butter.
It's fresh bread.
It's just that picture just
Fresh
looks
bread.
like a
With
slice of
butter.
toast.
Straight
I
out of
wanna-
the
with
plastic
sprinkles
bag,
on-
fresh bread.
Yeah, exactly. I want to be clear on what is fresh bread in this instance. You like baked
What
it?
do you mean? You go to the shop. You go to the bakery. You get
Oh,
bread
okay.
that's been baked that day.
But is it a loaf or is it pre-cut?
Oh, are we
Doesn't
gonna
matter.
start talking about bread now? What do you?
Yeah.
they cut the bread for you.
Is
yeah,
it
you
I
go,
mean,
sliced
you're
"I
still
would like
bread?"
basically
cut.
okay. It's fresher.
Wait, what are the other options for fresh bread?
Well,
I think he
meaning for
wants
me,
you to. I want you to get a baguette.
no, you just
Like
have to have a
what?
fresh loaf. You gotta cut it yourself if it's fresh bread. Nobody's slicing bread and like getting all that
But
air
what's
in
the
there. That's
difference
no longer
if
fresh.
you go to the bakery and you get fresh baked bread and they cut it for you and put
Yeah.
and then
This
you take it
doesn't
I mean,
look
I'll
like
allow it if
bakery
it's like-
bread. This looks like
They
grocery
just
store
cut
white
it.
bread.
Yeah.
You can get it from the grocery store too. That's fine. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be. When I say fresh, what I mean is, it's not toasted. It's
Oh, see? I told you there was something about the way you said it.
Yeah. I'm with you, Fran. I'm on it
Told
too.
you.
I'm not buying this fresh
it's
baked
bread,
bakery
because
bread.
Once you toast it, it's toast. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't be bringing
I-
toasted fairy. Otherwise, we got very toast, not very bread.
You know what's interesting? I'd be curious. over here, I grew up all the time having cinnamon. Well, it was toast though, but cinnamon toast bread, for breakfast
sure.
all the
Yeah.
time. Butter
that's
with
the
like
closest.
cinnamon and sugar.
Yeah.
Oh,
we
yeah.
do, which is very close to this, is what I would say.
Is it?
It
Yeah.
is because a lot of I don't
But
know.
we
if
don't
this
have,
is-
Cupcake.
but we don't have to go into the forest to get it. Fran.
I mean,
It's
prove me
different.
wrong though. This is just a cheap cupcake.
Here's the
But
thing.
I would eat
I'm
it.
basically putting together a package for you to attend your very first Australian birthday party. I will all get you. You all create fairy breads because you bring a plate of food. Sometimes you bring a plate of food, especially if they're family. So
We could do
you know,
that for
it's a-
Christmas, the Christmas episode. We could do an
Yup.
Australian
And-
Christmas fairy bread.
And
Yeah.
then when we get
And
It's called
to
summer.
the candles, we
Yeah,
all
that's
know
right.
what to do, right? If I say hip hip, you say
Hooray!
Hooray.
correct. Going hip hip.
Say this
hooray.
A
Hey,
birthday-
difficult.
See, I thought that was going
was like,
somewhere
this is a
else
trick
because I'm like,
question.
obviously it's hooray.
Yeah.
Do you say hip hip fairy?
No, they don't say
Fairy.
nothing. Americans don't say hip hip hooray.
We
Yeah,
do
we
too.
do.
Yeah, we
Happy
do.
birthday.
We don't really
Oh.
say it, but
We
we know
invented
it.
it. You guys
All
stole
right.
it from us.
Hooray.
Okay, hold on. Because
Yeah.
I've been seeing lots of like YouTube shorts of these poor Australian kids at American birthday parties, and they're all sitting around and they sing happy birthday, and then the Aussie goes hip hip, and everyone goes,
Well, we
Well,
would do
yeah.
that.
Looked
Yeah.
at
Yeah, it's weird
Why
at a
did-
birthday party.
It's weird to just
Yeah,
bring
You're
up.
You're
Right.
supposed to just sing happy birthday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we just throw that kid right out.
We
the
use it
front door at
more
that
like
point.
after we won a battle at sea and we're like cheering the
Yes.
the captain on, like hip hip hooray.
Hip, hip,
Yeah,
this is,
that's right.
Okay, this is
When
this is
did
what I'm
I
saying.
last
What
say
you
hip
sing,
hip hooray?
you sing happy birthday, right? And
Mhm.
when you get to the end of the happy birthday song, you say hip hip hooray, hip hip hooray, hip hip hooray, and then you blow the
Three
candles out.
times.
Oh, it's like between all of that.
Yes.
No, we don't
So
say it at
Do
birthday.
you
funny.
sing? What happy birthday
That's a
do you
lot
sing?
of work.
We
Nobody
say
wants
it
to
after
sing
we
the
beat
song
the
in
Red
the
Coast.
first place.
Right.
I saw this American going, oh, and they say Habib hooray, and so
Habib.
it's not Habib,
No.
Habib hooray, it's hip hip hooray.
Happy birthday.
I feel like that was a very young American, maybe, that was
Yeah.
like, did you never hear that
Yeah.
phrase?
No, the happy birthday's the same. It's like happy birthday to you,
Like-
happy birthday to
Yeah.
you.
We're
Yeah,
gonna get
Michael
straight-
Jackson.
we're gonna
Wait,
get
wait,
copyrighted.
That's copyrighted
be careful.
song.
Oh, is it?
It is.
We're not trying to get
actually.
What, by
demonetized.
Nintendo.
Could be.
Yeah, could be.
Nintendo lawyers. Wait, we can copyright that? Yeah.
What did they copyright this week? It was something crazy.
Summoning,
the
summoning
creatures or
mechanics.
something.
Yeah, summoning creature or summoning a thing and then controlling that thing.
I feel like there's prior art for that, but they got it granted, right? Like it went through.
Yes.
They own the copyright for that.
Oh, was it
Patent-
Grant? I
a
didn't catch
patent
that.
or
part.
whatever it's called.
They have. You'd be surprised though the amount of patents that like Sony, Nintendo. I'm not saying that they should do this, and it's like the whole thing's is always a slippery slope. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff out there.
That's how
like
we ended up with
controlling
the
a
six
character.
axis.
Yeah, like camera controls in a 3D environment. Back in the day, analog sticks from them, all that stuff. And some of that stuff has lapsed, but you'd be surprised at what's out there. But in other words, like how often is this applied and like trying to take someone down? I think they just want it in case they really got to go to bat against Pal World here. But
Right.
I mean, it just sounds like they're drawing it out now. They're
Yeah.
just making stuff up to keep them in court, really.
Power
Yeah.
Words.
That's
Nintendo
what-
are bad people.
Yeah.
just have some fairy bread and hip hip.
Do some hip hip hooray.
Hooray!
You know,
Before
there might be better
the
people.
verdict, though. Not
Yeah.
it can't be after the verdict.
Oh. I mean, as long as
Well, there you
I've
go.
been
Did that-
alive, Nintendo's been suing people, right? It's like,
Yeah.
I remember when they were in Congress, they testified in Congress saying
Yeah.
Nintendo will never have blood in a Mortal Kombat game
Oh,
on a
God.
Nintendo system. They said that
So
shit.
stupid. Yeah.
Have they checked recently?
I don't think they followed up, Watts.
Yeah.
I
We
don't
should
think they
arrest
did.
them.
That was probably
idea.
Howard Lincoln.
Howard Lincoln,
He's
that's right.
Was it Howard? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
We should
long
arrest
been
them. Yeah.
gone. He was their, staff lawyer basically. So
Yeah.
Those were the days, man. Soon over that, and then of course the great Donkey Kong, King Kong
great
lawsuits, all
Donkey
that fun stuff.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, true.
That's where a lot of his, I believe, it was him that got that sorted out.
Probably gave him some fairy bread. All the good. Oh,
Yep.
thanks for the cheap cupcake.
I'm gonna get so much crap from Australia for that one. I would.
I
I mean, I would
would
eat.
like
Sounds
you
great.
all to try it before you start harassing my Australian traditions.
No,
They
it
do
looks
the
good.
same
I-
thing with- they do the
Unless
same
it's
thing
a
with beans on
penalty
toast,
for the
'cause they
next
don't
charity stream, I
understand.
will not be trying that.
Why not? You're an American. You eat cake bread already. It's like this. It's probably just the same thing. It probably just tastes like American bread.
I
True.
I
Yeah,
like
that's a
the
good point.
brown breads with the nuts and the twigs in it, personally.
Yeah, you like the
Little-
twigs.
Little roughage in my bread.
There's a branch sticking out of
Oh, my.
the package.
And that's what the little delicious balls can be on your bread.
Yeah, delicious balls on your bread.
Now I'm sold. When you put it like
Watts
that,
bread.
We got balls and bush bread now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, zucchini bread's real underrated. That's just
I'm with
fire.
you.
Mm.
Yeah, it is delicious.
Zucchini bread.
Mm-hmm.
Big
I haven't
fan,
had it
man.
in a while, but yeah.
So I used to work at a church, and every year they would do like a for a fundraiser for the student center, because the student center was like its own separate building. We had to obviously do maintenance and upkeep. So every year we'd do a fundraiser where people in the church, we would do an auction. So you'd bring in something from home, and we have an auctioneer show up and auction it off, and people in the congregation could bid on it to raise money, right? But there were so many old farmhouse ladies in our church because we went right up next to like farming country, and they baked the hell out of this stuff. So the zucchini bread, carrot cakes, bread puddings,
man.
all that stuff, just fresh baked. Dude,
Man, I gotta go to church.
I know you gotta get yourself a church, Briar. It's
I gotta
like-
buy
Next to
myself
like a
some
bunch
religion.
of farms, though, specifically.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't
it's
And,
think
like-
I'm getting good zucchini bread in Connecticut.
we had
honestly.
like 5 different families that had sugar shacks on their farms, which is where you make like
Oh,
maple
wow.
syrup, right? You boil
Oh,
it
we got
up,
a
so
lot
they
of that
bring in
around here.
and bring in homemade maple syrup, maple candy, all of it, dude. That was the worst day of the year for me in terms of like the next day I'd be barfing a lot.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah, it was great. Anyways, video games?
Video games?
Video games, there's lots of them.
Yeah, what do we got? We got Borderlands. We got
I want to hear Mylin's thoughts on Silksong. I want to
Silksong.
hear Fran's thoughts on finishing Cronos. I want to hear the podcast thoughts on Destiny. How's it going?
Maybe just
surprised-
rip that band-aid off, huh?
The-
Oh, what were you gonna?
I was gonna say the Cronos and Silksong stuff, we already like started those discussions in previous weeks, so maybe it'd be
Oh yeah,
True,
yeah.
true.
We can.
a good idea to sort of like kind of tie those up, yeah, or like continue
sure,
that
yeah.
conversation. then
Mylon,
move on to
I
new
want to
stuff?
hear your yeah, and then
Yes,
I'll
I've
chime
got
in.
17 hours in Silksong, which is more than I thought. I really enjoyed it. I
enjoyed, like you're
Didn't-
done with it?
no, I actually want to get
Yeah.
back to it.
Not at that hour count.
Yeah, I want to do a lot more with it. I think it is a classical Metroidvania. I don't think it adds anything crazy different to the genre, but I think for everything it does, I actually really enjoyed. I didn't, from what I've played so far, I know there's harder bosses coming up, but I didn't find it like incredibly hard compared to other games that I've played. Because I think that was a lot of commentary on like the difficulty of it, and even like the jumping and the like the down slashes. I thought it was fine. Like it just took a little while to get used to. Like I think I struggle way harder with like From Software games than I did with Hollow Knight and Silksong. So I don't know if it's just preferences. 2D, less going on for me. I was like, okay, I can deal with 2D rather than 3D. And then I think I don't know if people wanted more from it, but I think it was a good sequel. Like there wasn't anything crazy different, I thought, from Hollow Knight, but Hollow Knight was also well received, and it was a good price point. So yeah, overall, I think it's a good package.
When you say people wanted more from it, what more do you think people wanted from Silksong that it didn't
I don't know.
provide?
I don't know if people expected it to change a little bit, or to add to the formula, or to add to what Hollow Knight did. I think Hollow Knight had a big wow factor from like the aesthetic, the art, the music, and all that coming together. And I guess you kind of don't get that wow factor as much because it's a sequel and it continues that kind of product along. I did see some comments about music. People thought that like Hollow Knight had better music and maybe more memorable music as it goes through, but I don't know if I've got enough time in it really to make comment on that. But yeah, I don't know if you guys heard different thoughts.
People seem like pretty happy with it, and then when you get to the capital in Act 2, it definitely it kind of changes vibes a little bit. But yeah, I think people just wanted more Hollow Knight. So I haven't seen anyone being like, I was kind of hoping they would do something different. It is basically just more Hollow Knight. But Hornet is a lot faster. She's like a lot faster, so the enemies are a lot faster. Platforming demands more of you because she is faster.
Yeah, I want to say maybe it was more platforming. It's been a long time since I played the first one, but it felt like the platform was probably more demanding than
I think so. Yeah.
In the first one, but
I think that diagonal jump contributes to that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested in how you guys found it. Like, I could see it was a little bit annoying, but it wasn't like impossible to master or even just avoid eventually by getting a different, crest.
I didn't really mind it. I think the times that I start having less fun with Silksong is when you're doing gank fights and the way to get there is super long and really punishing and super tight windows to get there. So like the runbacks in this game are crazy, and the gank fights, there's so many of them. So I think for me, Silksong teeters on it. There's always this really thin line you have to be on for these kind of games where you're a difficult game and you want to be challenging, but it can teeter and fall into annoying or frustrating. You're like, okay, this is just kind of annoying me now. And I do think that Silksong does that specifically with like their gank fights. But every boss fight that I've had, I actually think the bosses are not very difficult, but it's the gank fights and the type of enemies they have in certain platforming areas and the platforming in later areas that are just like, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, so I don't think I've quite got there yet. I think the only one that I've like my first rage was, I'm assuming you mean gank fight when they have the ones in the background. You have to fight like multiple waves
at a
smaller
room.
enemies. Yeah. The birds sent me. That was the first one. Like every other boss, I think I had got through like on first or second attempt, and then the first time I got real stuck with these birds.
I know the birds,
that one was funny too because it was like opposite. There was like a bird boss, and then there was a bird gank fight, like in opposite directions from like one rest spot.
Yeah.
And I'm with you. I had more problem with the gank fight than I did with the boss.
Yeah.
The bosses
are not that bad.
It's like, it took me a few tries. I had to like see the pattern of the attacks and learn how to avoid it. I do find that the combat is a little simplistic a lot of the time, where I'm just like, the attack pattern is avoid an attack, get in the enemy's face, hit him once or twice, and then wait for the next attack, repeat for the next 10 minutes. It's like, I am very much having trouble with Hollow Knight because I am playing Shinobi at the same time. And like, I mean, they're similar in that they're 2D games with swords, but they're so dissimilar in that Shinobi is just like gives you every option in combat that you could possibly
you have more
want.
options, right?
Yeah.
All in all, really, you have an option of like which down attack do I want to suit this boss, and then the rest is like learn it, dodge, unless you're going to go away and get another skill, which sometimes does help with like bosses, like especially early on when you don't have like dash and stuff like that. Then sure, those things can be like crazy good for certain bosses. But yeah, you're right. Like the combat wise is about persisting with that and learning that.
Yeah, even when I'm exploring and there's like a guy who's just like walking around, and his like main attack is just to like kind of hop up and dive at you. It's like I know what he's gonna do, so I know that I have to like get close to him, dash backward, then attack him. And after like 40 of these guys, I'm like, I never want to see another one of these guys again. It's so slow. It's so slow to like fight this guy. But
I've been thinking about this because I actually kind of like it for that reason, because I feel like as not necessarily Metroidvania, but like Souls-like games have, you know, increased their, and especially I think also success of like Elden Ring. I think there's in general like a lot of games give you lots of different options. Lots of like, you know, it's all about like giving the player heaps of different choices. You want to run magic, you want to do melee, you want to do parry, you want to do like different builds and all that kind of stuff. Whereas this is kind of like, you got a sword, dude. Like you gotta dodge and like you got a sword.
get after it.
And I do wonder whether that impacted people's thoughts on Hollow Knight, because I think, you know, people are kind of expecting more complexity now, maybe when it comes to combat, more abilities, even like Shinobi, like the amount of different options you have for triggering abilities and supers and playing in a different way is, you know, a lot more than Silksong.
Even in other Metroidvanias that have come out in the last 8 years since Hollow Knight.
It's been a long time, yeah.
Like we've had a new Metroid game. We had Metroid Dread that came out. We've had the Metroidvania genre, I feel like, is just chock full of good games at this point. And
it is, yeah. I was talking about this the other day actually, where like when Hollow Knight came out, it was one of the first Metroidvanias that really captured people on a large scale because they do. And the same thing with Silksong. It is a really good Metroidvania. Like the animations are great, the art is great, everything is super clean and precise, and like they do it really, really well. And the world is also really fun to be in. But since then we have had like so many come out that I think going and playing Silksong, I still 100% believe that they do everything that they do really well. But we've seen the genre kind of be pushed forward by other games. That now it's kind of like, oh, it's a really good Metroidvania, but it's not my personal favorite. Like maybe you like things that have more variation in combat. Maybe you like different kind of exploration moves that you get. It could be whatever you prefer. But I think Hollow Knight and Silksong are just really good Metroidvanias. But they're not like, wow, you know, you don't play it and you're like, oh my God, there's this brand new thing that's like super different. It's just done really well. And I do think they do exploration probably better than most Metroidvanias. Like it always feels like you're progressing and it doesn't feel like I have to run to the other freaking side of the map anytime I unlock something. It feels like I'm kind of moving forward, which is nice. They do that.
Yes, I mean, I first time in a long time I've like had a notebook, I wrote down every time I saw something, I was like, I need to come back here, wrote it down, and felt really rewarding to go back. Like as soon as I unlocked, I think one of the wall jumps, I had so many different aspects to go, got different, not equipment, I can't remember. I helped some alchemist and it gave me some blue thing. I think it gives you like a extra life or something like that, like really well hidden. And if I hadn't written it down, I don't think I would have gone back and found it. So
yeah.
You know, I agree, they nail they nail the Metroidvania side of it, which is good because it's a Metroidvania.
It feels like an old Metroidvania though. Like new Metroidvanias, like Prince of Persia, like allow you to put a picture of the thing that you have on the map, right? So you know exactly where it is. You don't have to have a notebook on the side. You have to equip a fucking compass in place of something else that could be a usable item in this game. Like you don't just get to know where you are on your map when you find your map. You have to go find your map. Like you don't just like walk into an area and like, oh, here's the map for this area. You got to go find somebody who's going to give you the map. Like,
it's
I'm
like that in a lot of respects.
I feel like
actually,
that is what a Metroidvania is, by the way. But
no, it's a very like classic Metroidvania. It's a very classic like difficult game too, right? Like so many people hated runbacks in Dark Souls games. So with like Elden Ring and newer games that they've made, there's like not many runbacks at all. There's a shrine or whatever right outside of a thing.
Right outside.
Yeah. Right outside of the thing. But they're like, no, you got runbacks, you got to buy the map, you have to rest to update the map, you need to equip a compass thing to, and I'm not saying that's bad. I think it can make it's a different flavor of making you make different decisions based on, you know, how they're using these different mechanics. But yeah, there are a lot of people don't like that anymore. That's why
Yeah,
FromSoft.
I mean, it's the same as like all like the Souls genre, like how it very first starts out, and like these are like aspects of it, and then eventually, you know, the game industry starts maybe moving away from some of those pain points and updating them and changing them just a little bit, and giving you States America where you can be a little bit closer, and thinking that well, people may be a bit fatigued on this certain mechanic, where I think Metroidvania quite sticks to Hollow Knight, Silksong sticks to quite the formula of Metroidvania, which is like the challenge is the exploration, and you have to pay currency to get a compass, to get markers even. Like you don't even get markers. Like, you know, that is part of the thing for exploration with this game is like you need to take note where everything is. Otherwise you won't get the secrets.
Yeah. Fran, you're right. It's
I
like
think
most
people can't
Metroidvanias, you like gotta uncover the map. But usually like you uncover it room by room as you walk into that room, right? As opposed to Hollow Knight or Silksong, I think it was this way in Hollow Knight too. I can't remember. It's been so long. It's like you got to go find somebody to buy a map from, and then hopefully you have enough of the very hard to obtain currency in the early game anyway, to buy said map. And then you know your compass is like an equipable item slot. So like to see your little icon on your map, you have to equip the compass instead of like a secondary weapon or ability.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just sounds old school.
It's old school. That's exactly
and
what
indie
it is,
as well is what I would say. I mean, I don't know if that
100%.
makes as much sense, but
that's what I'm saying. It's not like I think things that we're bringing up. It's just like a personal taste thing because there's a lot of games that I'm like I really like the classic feel of this genre, and it's nice when you play a game that feels like this is like the old games I used to play in this genre. So there's nothing wrong. It's just whether your preferences maybe moved on from that and you've played things like Shinobi or Prince of Persia that are Metroidvanias, but you maybe prefer like that style more.
I definitely enjoy Silksong, and it's like sticking to that genre. Like I've actually had a good time of it because of that. And I'm often the person that's kind of like ask developers to push like genres and change things and not just like repeat it, but every now and then, like I just enjoy it when it's done well, and I think Silksong's done well enough that I've had a really good time with it, and want to push through and complete it.
I am playing on the Switch, and I think that was kind of a mistake because I don't find that I can really play this in handheld mode because of the lack of a decent controller. Like I just gotta play it.
My hands hurt.
Mashing those small buttons.
Using this thing, my hands hurt.
Like I just got to use an actual controller. Like for exploration, I'm usually okay playing on the Switch itself, and I just use the analog stick because there is no D-pad. But like once I get to like a demanding section, I find that I gotta dock this and actually use a controller. Which that's a failure of the Switch too, not the game.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I was gonna say, by the way, from the outside, because I haven't played it, or really, I think I barely touched the first one, but part of it makes me think, and I'm curious what you guys think on this, but it almost sounds like maybe is part of it the amount of time it takes to go back and forth. It's not like is it hard to go back and forth, in other words, but part of this is like, I find myself feeling with a lot more games these days, so in the spirit of, oh, well, that's kind of classic OG way to do it, is that I find myself wanting games that I once would have loved to be in this format that I'm like, I don't have time for this. I like it and all, but like, can we just move on because I have other games to play? Which is it's weird, but I think it's valid. Like the way we used to do things was to create a long 40-hour golden path, experience. And I think that frankly, that has been pervasive in game design. It's like, well, it should be about 40 hours and it costs as much. But like, sometimes I'm like, why am I spending time doing this? I've done this in the past. Just let me do the fun stuff and I'll come.
It's a good point because when we fell in love with games, a lot of times it's like, I'll get 2 or 3 video games for Christmas and then I might get a couple more on my birthday, but that's about it. This, like in the current gaming age, a lot of times we're getting new games every week. We're on Steam. What's on sale? What am I going to download for free? It's just like we have access to so many games. So I think you're on something there.
And to be clear, right, it's if you were to rate, and this is where it gets very, like, take this with a grain of salt because I don't do this. I do a little of this, but I rate the moments that I'm in a game of how fun is this? How much fun am I having? What is my pull forward? How much has it really sunk its teeth into me in this moment? And what I mean by that is like, if that wanes for too long, I'm like, all right, I've done this before. Like, I know what's just let me do this fun stuff. And you're kind of gating me for like the stuff I really want to do and just be done with it. And sometimes that's even like, I would have finished a game in half the time. I know we've talked about this on the show even. And then I would have actually gone in and like experimented with some other characters and did this and that. But I'm like, you ended up making me play this thing for like 50 hours when it didn't need to be that. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's this, but I wonder if that's kind of because it's a small team and a classic design, if that's part of it.
Some of these games, I think a Metroid Dread did this perfectly, is they make you feel like you're exploring, but they're subtly guiding you along the correct path, right? It's like, so you're never actually getting lost, even though you feel like you could be lost at any point in time. I feel like in Hollow Knight, you can definitely be lost. Like, you can definitely be just, I don't know where to go next.
Yeah, but
it's one of the few games that I like being lost in, and that I actually embrace being lost in, because I'm just like, I'm just gonna keep going this way and like see what happens.
Yeah, that's like the best part of it.
Especially with how few benches there are in areas. I'm like, I'm just gonna keep going. Don't think about it. Just keep going in this direction. Because there are times that there are not many benches, and then there's times where you have to pay for the benches. And I just want to say, I understand why they have it, one, being really difficult to ascend in this area, and two, why you have to pay for benches, because I think they're using it as a way to do environmental storytelling. Because the whole story is like, there's pilgrims trying to ascend to the capital, and they have to give their money to this religion, and they're always being told, if you just work harder and give us some more money, we'll let you in. So they're using them for free labor. So I think this feeling of being like, it's really hard and it's really brutal and you have to pay for everything is giving you the feeling of the pilgrims. It's just whether you're like, yeah, well, that pisses me off though.
Yeah, I get it,
Yeah,
but I
I'm
also
annoyed.
I don't want to spend like 10 minutes grinding for beads, like I just don't want to do it.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, I think maybe that. So, like on Fran's point, there's only a couple times I thought, oh, I've got to redo that, and the reason it happened was, you often the game will take you like the long way, and like a Metroidvania, eventually you'll get the skill to shortcut it, where it's like a geyser you can fight at the top. And then I did the long way, survived, but then didn't have enough beads to open up a checkpoint, essentially, to open up a seat, and I was like, God damn it. Then I died. I'm like, I'm gonna have to go for that all again. Then I was like, well, okay. So now I know I need to kind of like, if I'm going to go on these big explorations, I'm going to have to start paying for this stuff. So I probably should have enough beads on me if I'm going to go back into this new area so I can open up a checkpoint. And that only really happened a couple of times to me. And I felt like every time I unlocked a new skill, like I had a list of places I could go and explore, and it would open up a whole new area or a new vendor or something, and I wasn't super frustrated with it. But I could definitely see the currency system. Like, I can see why people maybe don't like that, because it does take a little bit of the excitement out of finding a bench. Like, if you get through a difficult area, like, oh, thank God, that's the Souls experience. Like, oh my God, thank God there's a bench here. But then it's like, oh, thank God there's a bench. Okay, I can't afford it.
Oh, this bench you have to pay every time you use it. Oh
yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't there a shop like that too? I think there's shops like that too. Like you have to pay to get in the door every time.
They adjusted the cost in Act 2 because it was really expensive, because you have to pay every time you use a bench. Yeah. Because I was like, oh, this must have been one of the benches they adjusted, because it's 15 rosaries, and there's nothing this cheap in this world.
When did the patch come out?
It already came out, I believe.
Yeah, but when did it come out?
Around September 11th or 12th, it looks like.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Yep.
Yeah, on that note, like, it sounds like none of you think the game feels too tuned to be too difficult. Is that accurate?
No, I think.
I don't think so. I think it's fine.
I don't think in the current climate of games,
by
I don't
how
know,
much
like
talk there is about like, oh, this game needs an easy mode. Like it's not that hard. It's a little punishing. Like,
it's punishing and will piss you off, but
yeah,
I don't think it's like really hard.
It's not like insurmountable difficulty. Like, you're never gonna beat this. You just gotta like learn the pattern and do it.
Right.
the punishing part is that you gotta a run back to get back to the boss. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If there was
very
just a
old
The last
checkpoint right in front of the
judge
boss.
Yep.
I think the last judge was the first one that was like, oh, there's the run back is not that bad when you learn it, but the run back is super tight and there's enemies that are trying to hit you along the way.
Yeah.
So it did give me a feeling of like, I don't want to really experiment with how much I can push against this boss, because if I die, I gotta go do all that again.
Yeah, I bring
it
it up.
sounds like I haven't experienced some of those run backs yet with where I'm at
No.
in the game, because they haven't been super bad yet. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think this was the first one that I was like, oh.
Yeah, I brought it
Yeah,
up because
heard
yeah,
about
that there was a lot of commentary about it. We've heard people talk about being stuck on bosses, and you hear this in a lot of games. And then it seems like there was quite a bit of feedback though, and they did tune some of the beginning of the game. It looks like
They tuned like the easy things, which
Ye-
confused me. But then again,
wh-
someone in my chat was like, that was definitely the hardest boss and they nerfed it. So
And maybe either way, it's like, well, if you just sort of explored around and did your work, it would have been fine. But yeah, Team Cherry apparently had commented on this
they
recently.
did, yeah.
From
Mhm.
Australia, by the way,
They
to
are.
just sort of say
They're
what you
very
guys are
brave.
saying, which is like, if you're stuck, like just go in another direction and start exploring and like get out of there. And like, I think that's presumably what a lot of people get caught on, and I see that happen a lot in Elden Ring.
Oh yeah.
People will tell me this game's impossible, and I find out, this is not a spoiler, but there's like the first, horse. What's the first horse in Elden Ring there?
Tree
The knight.
Sentinel.
Yeah,
The
the
tree
tree
sentinel
sentinel.
right
And
out the
people are
gate,
just sitting
yeah.
there fighting it because they don't understand.
Fuck yeah,
know
because
what
I'm a
it is.
badass motherfucker.
Yeah.
I'm taking this
Listen,
guy down.
that was
I didn't
me,
even-
and I dropped that bish
Yeah.
within an
Yeah.
hour. Oh yeah,
It took you a while. I remember you
that was
told
my
us
first
that.
Souls
It was
game
amazing.
ever.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But the point
Did-
one is, like, if you want to do it, cool. But like, if you just look past and all around you, like, just go around, like, stop. Why are you staying there? And I think that idea that this is like almost a linear experience, there's nothing wrong with it. Just, I think a lot of gamers forget sometimes. It's like, walk away. It's dangerous sometimes when you get focused on a boss. It's like, just stop.
Mm.
And
And there's
many
very
ways you can
definitely a
go.
early boss where you don't have the right move to like fight this boss. Like it's so
yeah,
obvious.
and I bet you
when you
could
come across
beat it
him.
though, right?
I mean,
But
you
could
could
probably
but
beat it
would be
without.
difficult.
Well, there you go.
'Cause
And some people
I think
will.
I did that one.
did you
Yeah.
do it without
So
the
the guy
dash?
was big. Yeah, I did. Everyone's saying literally backs in the shit, like go get the dash. Don't worry about it. I was like, nah, I'm gonna beat him. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah,
One interesting thing
I feel you on that.
that Cherry had said that maybe some Hollow Knight fans, maybe they put it together, but they were just saying because Hornet is like inherently faster and more skillful that they had to make some things more difficult. And so maybe early on people were feeling like, without getting these new skills or whatever it was.
Yeah,
But-
you really
so they
start
brought that
with
up. and-
no skills too. You have the dive kick. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yep.
And they don't even
they
tell
said
you
because-
about the dive kick. You got to like kind of figure out that you have that.
It's true. They don't. They're, yeah, that's very true. They don't. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, but yeah, in short, they said, well, because he has some of these extra skills and speed, that we did make it a little, difficult, more difficult than the first one, but that you can mitigate the difficulty via exploration or learning or even circumventing the challenge entirely rather than getting stonewalled, and that was from the developers.
Yeah.
Which when I read it, I'm like, yeah, it's a Metroidvania. So I don't want to be that guy, but I just sort of was like, yeah. Like, I think people just get so addicted to focusing on a challenge. Sometimes it's hard to walk away. That's being a gamer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with it.
Well, it's currently sitting at 73,000 very positive reviews.
That's
Yeah,
great.
it's crazy.
On Steam,
Yeah.
Mhm.
I presume. Yeah.
Oh,
I
sorry,
can't wait.
74,000
I can't wait to like see what the discussion of this game is in like a year or two once people have like kind of like molded over a little bit and compared it to not only the first Hollow Knight but like also like the the decades worth of progression in video games since then. Like it's interesting. I like the game. I know I kind of like I talked down about like some aspects of it, but I think it's a really good game and it's beautiful too. The world is amazing.
Yeah.
Should we move on
Yeah.
to? I don't
Some
know.
quick
What should we
Cronos,
move on
maybe?
to?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Did you roll credits on
Chrono-
this?
I think that's it for
Oh,
today,
you only
guys. I'll
chron-
see you later.
Fran rolled
You-
credits on Cronos.
Chrono.
Yeah.
Yeah, if Fran rolled Keto or Cronos.
Yeah, what's
let's
your
hear it.
final takeaway? Excited
Um,
about it all the way to the end as you were at the beginning, or were you kind of
Yeah,
happy
well,
to power through the final stretch?
yeah, I mean, I really like this genre, so I've said that over and over. I'm like, I like supporting this genre. I wish we had more games in this genre of this style. You know, Dead Space more so sometimes even than Resident Evil for me, but I like survival horror, period. And that's what
Yeah.
Cronos is. It's survival horror from the Bloober team, and um, they did a good job. I really like the mood, the vibe. Yes, they had some performance issues on PC in that. And it's not like as epic as Resident Evil is. It's also not as like wild and crazy,
There's
nor
no
does it
hot
have.
vampire mommy.
That's right. There's no hot
Mhm.
vampire mommy. Actually, wait. No, I don't think there is.
Unwish listing it right now.
There is a sort
Disappointing
of,
to hear.
yeah, there is a bit of a mommy in it at some point, but probably you won't be as excited.
Adding it
Um,
back.
But anyway, so I just like the genre, and it feels good. It feels polished in general, and yeah, so I really enjoyed it through the end. I think my main gripes, you know, because that's the easiest thing to talk about when we review and talk about games, right? But yeah, the main things that stand out as like things again that people may or may not like as much are. There's not like tons of different weapons and tons of different upgrades, and like it's very like on the nose with like, yo, you got a pistol, you can charge it. You got a shotgun, you can charge it. And you get a couple along the way. And you have like some suit upgrades, but it's like some suit health and a little more inventory space. So it's not like it really introduces these gameplay elements that are too wild. But there are some like puzzle type stuff in the world. It does some environmental puzzle stuff that I really enjoyed. You know, you probably saw in the trailer, I'll just say it, keep it simple, but you get some magnetic boots and you're able to jump around in a few different ways to solve
looks
environmental
trippy.
puzzles. And yeah, so anyway, it's cool. And I think as well, the story was actually kind of interesting, and the way that it sets you up for New Game Plus is interesting. So I think if you're into the genre, for sure, you would enjoy it. And I think if you look at games in 2025, it's up there as a good one. And I guess I'd leave it at that. The space is full of great ones, which is probably the challenge. But yeah,
Does
really
it lead
enjoyed
you
it
into New
overall.
Game Plus story wise?
Very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting
Mm.
without spoiling it.
Interesting.
That yeah, especially if you like that experience, it gives you a reason from a story perspective to play New Game Plus. It's not just like, oh, and also if you want to start over, you sort of
Run.
find out through the story that it's like, oh man, I wish I had time to like go through another run here and
So was the
and
story
maybe see the ending or
conclusion?
whatever.
Was the story conclusion satisfying by itself, or do you have to go to New Game Plus to really continue?
It's one of those games for sure that's still like, because it deals with time travel and stuff like that, that you're depending on how much attention you were paying and all the notes you read and recordings you listened to. But it's pretty in your face when it starts to reveal some of the bigger moments that you're like, oh, this was what's going on and this was what is at stake. It actually makes that very clear. And yeah, there's a very clear
Okay.
ending to it.
Because that would be probably my main push to finish it, is to see how the story played out.
Yeah.
Don't know
and-
how interested I would be in New Game Plus, but I think the story was enough of a pull to like me wanting to see where this goes, because I think it seems like a pretty decent story.
Yeah, I would say it's satisfying in the sense
Okay.
that it gives you more of an answer on what was going on, but it does leave you with this New Game Plus idea where you're like, oh, interesting.
Because
could
all
be
we
a bit more to
really
the story.
know, right, is there's just some, world-ending events, and where these time travelers, or a single time traveler that's trying to, shift the needle by changing events and finding people who are, pivotal to this cataclysm. And that's kind of it.
Yeah, I think roughly. Again, I'm never
Yeah.
a very good lore guy there, but yeah, you're absorbing and ascending these. Yeah, there's that element
Important
to it as
people
well.
for
Yeah,
the
these
history of
important
the world.
targets. Yeah, you have these targets that you're going after that you've been instructed to go get as this traveler. But that's what's it. I mean, I think throughout it, you really don't know. You don't understand why you're there,
Yeah,
what drives you. You just
exactly.
understand you're this tool, and you meet a couple characters along the way. So yeah, no, I think it's interesting on that, and it's also like I was really happy with the length of it. They didn't like, even though some of the stuff, there's a few moments where it's like, yeah, this is pretty similar to other areas, but like a little more challenge and, same mood, same weapons roughly. I kind of want to get to the next big thing, but you do, and it doesn't drag out. So in other words, I thought it was right in that middle ground of like, yeah, I did it in about 25 hours. I think a lot of people could easily do it in 20 or less. So it's worth it on that front. So
I
you know
like
me,
that
I
length
like
for
this
a game.
genre. It's worth wish listing and picking it up for that reason. What was that,
You
Brian?
convinced me to buy Dead Space. Was that last week?
2023.
Yeah, so I started
Nice.
playing that based
Oh,
on your
you did?
recommendation. Yeah, you're right.
Well,
It is a really good game so far. I'm only
yeah?
like 4 hours in. My question
Ooh.
for you right now is how much variety in like locales is there?
Well, I mean, you're on that ship, I thought the whole time.
Okay.
But you do a lot within that ship.
Okay.
And they even added content versus the original Dead Space that fits in, that's new. It's
This
not
game
a
is
ton.
very scary.
Yeah, it is. It's got a lot of, I think, action moments to it. The fighting is Dead Space 2023, right? Has a lot more like sever off their leg, and the
Yeah, it's fun.
there's a lot of shooting to do. So yeah, I enjoyed that. It's more of an action game than Cronos.
Is there any eyeball stuff?
Shooting an eyeball?
If there's eyeball stuff, I'm out.
Is that what you're saying? Like
gives me
shooting eyeballs?
heebie-jeebies.
Or?
Well, when horror games decide to like pull people's eyeballs out and stuff like that.
Have you been watching the new Alien Earth?
I know what he's gonna say, right? Don't even bring it up, dude.
Oh my god, you gotta watch that. It's amazing.
The goat, man. Woo. No, I don't. There probably is, because all survival horror has some kind of eyeball that you shoot at.
Yeah.
In it. And
I don't
tendrils.
mind shooting an eyeball, but when it's like cut scenes where they like pin you down, and you see like the little metallic hand coming down over your eyeball.
Yeah, I don't like
eyeball
that either.
gore.
Eyeball gore, yeah.
Cronos doesn't. I can tell you that. I don't remember in Dead Space, but anyway. So yeah, I liked it. I mean, it's hard for me to like really sit down and put a number on it right now. I'd have to think about it, but it's in that 7 to 8 range, and I always feel like it's a cop out as part of why I say that. I'm like, yeah, you had another game that's pretty good. You should check it out if you like the genre. Like, it's a little cliche, but it's true.
It's every game this year though. Like every game is releasing at like high 70s, low 80s.
Yeah.
And then you have a few that are in the 90s. Like that's every game that's coming out. It's like, oh, it's another like 8 out of 10 game.
Pretty good, yeah.
And that's not a bad thing. Yeah, we need to, in other words, we need to get away from thinking that is not a really solid experience. I feel like games have always been that way. There just used to be fewer in both categories. Now there's way more, 7 to 8.5 games. And there's even more 8.5 to 10 games. It's just there's more of everything, but especially on that good part in the 7 to 8.5, let's say, that, yeah, it dilutes it into thinking where it's like, well, it wasn't Expedition 33 level and it wasn't. But no, I mean, that doesn't mean you shouldn't play it. In fact, it's so far from that idea.
Not everything's going to be a 9 or a 1. Like,
those scores will get you right through college, all the way through. No problem.
Dude, I mean, like, my son was stressing out about a math test, and when he came home yesterday, and I was like, how did it go? He's like, I got a B on it. I was like, yes, let's go, because he worked so hard, Yeah, but he felt really good. No, I'm so, dude, 8s are good.
Yeah, so many.
It's funny, I made a little one-off like YouTube short about this exact conversation, just saying like, I'm happy playing good games. Like good games, it's still good. But overwhelmingly, like it was a little bit baity. There was so many comments like, I'm not paying for it. Unless it's basically intent in my eyes, I don't want to play it. I don't want to, and it's
that's valid if you only have so many hours to play video games per year. Like if you're gonna play 3 or 4 video games per year, because that's the time you have, why not just play the absolute best video games that come out?
Yeah, well, but that's not the thing. Is like your good video game might be somebody's 6 out of 10 could be your 10 out of 10. Like there's so many games that I have fallen in love with and like played Destiny. Over and over and over again that did not get reviewed. Like one of my favorite games of all time is Kingdoms of Amalur: Reckoning. I have played through that game I've probably got 15 playthroughs, no doubt, since it launched. I mean, well, to be fair, that came out a long time ago, and then they remastered it, re-released it on Steam. So I've played the heck out of it. But there's plenty of games like that that's like you don't hear about them being 9s out of 10 or 10 out of 10s.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it just hits right for you. And so I think there's a lot of merit to these games. There's like, hey, there's nothing wrong with it. If you like the genre, check it out. Because someone may really vibe with it.
Yeah.
With that
and
genre
last
and
year's
stick with
8 out
it.
of 10 is probably $20 right now.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
there's the
that's-
price
yeah.
factor too. But again, like the cost matters way more to some people and doesn't matter at all to many. And so that's why it is, yeah, it's so subjective. It's always, yeah, I bring it up because it's like, man, I hate to even have to continue to explain and defend when we say, yeah, the game is good. It's a 7.9, right? It's good. When that comes up, I always have that feeling where people are like, yeah, well, it's not a 10. You're like, no, it's like
Yeah.
TV
Well,
was
neither
saying.
are you.
It
You know
may
what
be
I'm
your
saying?
what's that?
Well, my joke on this YouTube shot was, well, my wife settled for less than a 10, so I'm sure you can find a video game you like.
Yeah.
Right?
Very nice.
And that, my wife.
But yeah, so too many good games is the real issue. So,
Oh yeah.
but oh, maybe I'll just leave you with that on Cronos. Yeah, there was, as an example, somebody in my chat that was really excited to see me finish it and talk about it a bit more, and they were like, "This is an 8.5 for me," and I totally got into the New Game Plus, and like they really liked it a lot. And so, just as an example, that could be you.
Could be.
Mhm.
There's something about that
Yeah.
helmet that I really like. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
You know what's funny is in my chat last night too, somebody was calling them Big Daddies, because like from
True.
BioShock, I think.
Sure.
And I was like, oh, it does have it is like a big daddy suit almost. They're like little daddies. The Travelers is what you are. So
Did I
There's a-
see
there's
some
a new
rumblings
BioShock
about?
coming.
Well, I was just gonna say, did I hear some rumblings about a BioShock show coming?
that is
Interesting.
out there as well.
Mm,
Oh wow.
I thought I
I
heard some
think
rumblings about
so.
that.
No, there
think
is.
so.
I'll have to look it up.
What a
But yeah,
world
if
we
you
live
like
in
it-
where we're excited about video game shows and movies, right? Wow.
Like if they do it as well
Yeah.
as like the Fallout series, some of these
Yeah, the best
shows
one
that
they've
really
ever
full
done.
send. Yeah, if they full send on like staying true
Yeah.
and unapologetic to the genre, it'll work.
BioShock could be sick.
That's-
Would you want
Yeah,
them to
it's-
continue like Under the Sea or go with BioShock Infinite or try something new?
Dude, I know it's like a basic B thing to
It's
say,
Netflix,
but
by the way.
Infinite was so good. And I liked how that really split the difference between that moody underwater vibe to fantastical in the sky, and they kind of split the difference because some of the spaces you go into kind of had that same moody vibe, but then other parts of it had this levity to them that kind of captured your imagination. I thought it split the difference perfectly.
Yeah, it is. By the way, it is. I think it's in development with Netflix and all that, so it is a real thing. But yeah, I'd be more than fine. Just take the first one and work on from that as the beginning, and figure out where you want to go from there once you nail that part. Because it's just such a cool vibe. I don't think you need to go too. Like some of the simplest stuff. Sometimes it's just the coolest. If that makes sense. Like it doesn't have to be complicated. Like BioShock Infinite. It's not like it's complicated, but it got a lot more political and like a lot of commentary. Not that the first one wasn't, but yeah, I think you could easily take the setup for the first one, and do plenty with it.
Yeah, I can't say I'd be upset if they went either way.
Yeah, just do any BioShock right. Just don't screw it up.
Sure.
That's
Yeah.
the important part.
That does seem a hard thing to do though. Like, how do you capture that again?
Yeah.
I'll never forget walking down to a beach in Infinite, and the barbershop quartet was singing "Girls Just Want to Have Fun," and it was supposed to be what was the year supposed to be? Like 1930 or something, 1920? I can't remember what year it was supposed to be, but it was like there's more going on here than we know about. It was pretty interesting. I like that game. Not perfect, but good.
Yep.
That was a 7.
Yeah, maybe
I'd say.
to go off of that too. Remember that Rod Ferguson just moved over from the Diablo leadership position and is now on BioShock. So that's an exciting development. So Rod Ferguson, right, came from Gears of War and like Microsoft, and I forget where it was even before that. A lot of experience, but he's moved off of Diablo now on BioShock, which is at least made me feel good. Only in that it was like, hey, It feels like you're definitely gonna get BioShock out the door. I won't jinx it, but right. I want to see BioShock, which is Cloud Chamber, I think it is, and then remember Judas is technically the real next BioShock. Judas is from Ken Levine and
That's right.
Ghost Story Games, I think it is.
Have we heard anything
And-
about a release date for Judas?
No,
Nothing.
neither have a release date. But Judas went into they sort of under embargo had shown it to some press, I think last year.
Okay.
A few people got to see. It's got a really unique mechanic where it like affects the story, and they didn't even reveal all the details.
You gotta like
That's
like
what
your
they're
13
betting on.
pieces of silver.
What is that referencing?
The Bible.
I don't even get it. I know a little something about the Bible. I was like, I don't even get getting silver for Judas. Either way, I'm excited about Judas. Was my point. I was trying to.
Yeah, I'm
to
excited
get
for
me
that
thinking
too.
about scriptures in the Bible where I'm
he
like, what
hasn't
did
made a
Judas do with the
game
silver. Is that
Since
how much he was
then, right?
paid? No, yeah, nothing since then. And so part of that story was that it became so complicated with that concept of whatever they're doing, with the way that it's somewhat rogue-like or whatever, rogue-lite, in that stuff you're doing has like effects in the story that apparently made it really hard to like get right and test. So it sounds interesting. Hopefully a genre bender.
Do you want Borderlands or do you want to do retrospective on Elden Ring DLC?
We got Destiny stuff to talk about too. I
I
know
think you
that
should jump into Borderlands.
Let's do
People are having a good time. Lots to talk about.
it's great. A lot of people are saying it's the best Borderlands.
A lot of people are.
like
yeah.
like people
Randy
who have
Pitchford.
historically, yeah, like Randy. I mean, like Goth.
Premium.
Gathalion is on that train right now too, and he's been very critical of 3, loved 2. He's a big fan of the franchise. But yeah, so it ticks a lot of right boxes. I think that the open world format works for Borderlands. One of the things that I think slowed the game down considerably in previous games was the fact that you had so many loading screens. Like if you're going to farm a boss, you want to farm a boss, a lot of times it's like, okay, you kill the guy, you see the loot, you exit to the main menu, reload at the save point, run back, do the run back to the boss and farm him again. But now we've got this open world thing. You don't have to travel through loading screens to get to different biomes, so that speeds things up. You've got safe houses and like these hot air balloons that are straight up in the sky that you basically zip up to, and then you can fly across the map. So,
oh wow, I haven't seen
the
that
open
yet.
world aspect is that you need to go discover these things, but once you discover them, now that's like your fast ticket to getting anywhere. Like nothing is far away in the map once you've discovered these, traveling things. Yeah, and you have a vehicle, you can move very, very quickly as well. So I've seen some complaints about, they're like, oh, well, it's an open world, but it takes forever to get played. I'm like, what are you doing then? Like, I get missions, I get bounties and side quests, and it's like I'm only ever 30 seconds away from where I need to be.
I think it's valid before you unlock stuff. I don't think it's far away.
Well,
I think the expectation is if you better unlock, I mean, you'll drive by like a control tower, so to speak, a safe house that you didn't unlock. And later you're like, oh crap, I didn't do that. I don't have a fast travel over there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well,
Yeah,
I mean, and this is kind of goes back to the Silksong conversations. Is sometimes it's like, well, you just didn't. It's not that the game's bad; it's just you didn't do it properly. Like you were supposed to go a different direction.
But you do have to spend the time to unlock the fast travel. Is all I'm saying. And
So I hated the first 10 hours, and I was literally about to put the
Man.
game down. I was like, this is just so incredibly boring. But
wow.
I agree. I was kind of doing it wrong. Not doing it right. So like, I actually think the main campaign for the first biome is probably the weaker aspect of the game. I do think the open world is a better aspect of the game. And it wasn't until I was like, okay, I think should not be mainlining the story here and like just exploring more and doing other stuff and unlocking things. And as soon as I started doing that, I started having more fun. And then I did some vaults, and that was more fun. And then finally some of the loot started dropping, which I found just, it takes a while to get to the build crafting. I always find that was always my issue with Borderlands. Like you just got to level up really and unlock your skill tree before you start getting to where you can put things together. And it wasn't really until that started happening that I was like, okay, now I'm in. Like, now this is cool. Like, I ended up finding some broken things and melting bosses and farming some stuff. But I found if you're not treating it like an open world game, I didn't like it at all. You have to be into, oh, all right, on the point from A to B, I'm going to unlock this, I'm going to grab that, I'm going to unlock the safe house here, I might do the vault on the way through. But and that was kind of my mistake at the beginning. I was like, I just, I was on a holiday, so I just wanted to kind of jump back in, see if I could blast through the main campaign and then get into other aspects of the game. But I didn't find that enjoyable at all. I just think kind of, it was just Destiny PTSD. I'm like just going through the motions of like running through a stage to hear like a bit of dialogue and then walk to the next quest kind of deal. So I agree with the open. I think the open world is the stronger aspect of it. I think Borderlands always, I think, is one of the most interesting loot systems, and this one is particularly good. I actually really enjoy it, and there's definitely a learning curve to like understanding what to look for, and I think that can put people off.
Sure.
Like if you haven't played Borderlands before, you're like, I don't fucking know what I'm looking for. I don't know what's good. I don't know what's bad. But that's kind of Borderlands. You got to put it on, and you got to start using it, right? I think and once you get into
that's what I tell everybody is, just like throw it on and try it out, see how it feels. If it works for you, take it off. If it does work for you, keep it on. But then you ask the question, like, why is this working? And then you realize, in my skill tree, I have a status effect buff, and this gun has like a plus 20% buff to all status effects. They're compounding. That's why I'm doing more damage. So just start asking the question, if it's working, why is it working? Start reading some of the text, and then you'll start to understand what you should be looking for and how it integrates with your build.
I think it can be hard if you haven't played Borderlands to get to that point, though. And I think one of the things the game does is you get so much loot and you have so little inventory space. If you're kind of like a hoarder, you're like, well, I don't want to delete stuff yet because I haven't used it yet. I don't know what's good yet. Like I'm level 1 and I've got like 15 guns and they don't fit into my inventory. Like
you'll get them again later,
But that's why it works well with the open world, because if you're going through and clearing bases, you're picking stuff up and like using it immediately. Whereas if you're just trying to like beeline the campaign, I just don't find that worked as well.
Yeah,
Good.
It was real fast. I was just gonna say, like for playing Borderlands, I think a couple things. One, if you've heard about or seen like how broken and amazingly powerful you can get and be, you need to erase that from your mind if you're newer to Borderlands. And like, it's just a lot of pressure to be like, you think you should kill this boss in 10 seconds and have fun. I don't think that's the right way to approach it. But then secondly, if you're just playing it, just know that, you're going to, you get so much loot in these games, and you can always, target and find loot later once you beat it, and that's the type of game it is. You do not need to worry about anything that you get, almost anything. You tell me if I'm wrong, until like you've beaten the game and moved into the ultimate Vault Hunter mode and all that stuff. Like none of it really matters other than if you're having fun with what you're using and being able to progress.
Yeah. Do not get attached to anything in Borderlands. Borderlands is a drown you in loot game. And like, quite frankly, everything you pick up is gonna be invalidated within the next couple of hours of gameplay, usually. So never get too attached. Yeah, don't get.
Knife.
Yeah. The only things that can be kind of timeless are things like your class artifacts that sort of like just give blanket buffs to your class. If you find one that's a level 21,
that is my current paralysis. Is I can deal with everything else, but I keep getting like artifacts. I'm like, oh, what if I have a build later that might use this? Oh, well, this could be good
you
later.
You can target it later. Is the
well, here's the thing. Every time you clear something on the map, whether it's a safe house or a balloon or a mine or a roller, whatever it is, there's all these different nodes on your map. Every time you clear one, you get currency to spend on inventory space. So you can increase the size of your backpack, you can increase the size of your bank, you can increase the size of the thing that collects lost loot that you didn't realize dropped and you passed it by. So, I mean, so there's definitely ways to help mitigate that if you are a hoarder. I have my bank right now has like, I think last I checked was about 75 legendaries in there that I've set aside that don't work for my build. But if I start another character, I can go through them. And if I never use them, if I find myself needing space later, I'll go through and I'll delete a ton of stuff. I'll be like, never wanted to use that one anyways. So, But it is a drown you and loot kind of game. I did not feel that same experience that you seem to have had, Myelin. I basically hit the ground running with this one, and I strongly disliked Borderlands 3. I was a huge Borderlands 2 fanatic, and 3 let me down in a big way. I didn't like the narrative. I didn't like the characters. I thought that the main antagonists were just unlikable, which was a really bad way to follow Handsome Jack, who was, in my opinion, one of the most likable, man, I hate this guy, bad guys of all time. And the twins were just not that. They were just genuinely unlikable. I found that the supporting cast of NPC allies and the world bosses were great characters, well acted, well written, great dialogue, great banter.
In 4?
In four, yeah. On top of that, I don't. What character did you start with, Myelin?
The Siren. What's her name? Vex.
Siren. Vex. I have heard that. I have not played her, so I can't speak to this personally. But I've heard her writing is not that great. I played Harlow, and Harlow's dialogue is so good. She's very well written. She's very passionately voice acted. I think they nailed her.
I think the main campaign so far is not. I think it's very safe. And I don't know if that's a consequence of Borderlands 3. They're like, you know what? Like, from what I can see, a lot of the Borderlands humor is in the side quests and exploration, the open world stuff. But like the main campaign stuff, like I actually don't get a big vibe of Borderlands from the main campaign. It feels like an okay story, but it feels pretty safe for Borderlands, to be honest. I don't know if that's the character Vex or not, or what, but
I'll agree with you. The first region,
the first region specifically,
the main narrative in the first region is a pretty safe play. But I do think
it definitely
that
picks
once
up
you get the
Carcadia,
once you get to the Carcadia burn, and then I think that the regional boss for the Carcadia burn, Callus, is fantastic. I love her character. I love her fights. And just having her in your ear that during that whole portion of the game is great. And then once you get to,
there weren't any other voice actors that like weren't from Destiny that other game companies can use. I'm so sick of hearing Destiny voice actors. Surely it's someone else.
And to be
clear,
we're
yapping the whole time.
I was wondering, are you saying that because of Mara Sov or because of Callus?
And Callus, like, come on now. Please.
It's not spelled the same. Anyways,
I'm
loving the game. I'm in the end game now.
What's his name? Is it Soul? Soul is also
Idolater Soul.
Yeah,
Idolater Soul. I thought it was Gaul at first, but
I'm in the end game now. World tier 5. Because once you beat the game, you can then escalate your world tiers up to tier 5 as the max. That's where I'm at now. And now the loot that I get a lot of loot, and they have lots of modifiers, so that's kind of the reason you escalate your world tier. Yes, things get harder, but then the gear that does drop can have like multiple modifiers to them. So that's where I'm at, kind of refining my build.
Can I ask you, TV? I totally understand the feedback on Borderlands 3 with the story and the characters and, whether it's the characters you're playing or surrounded with, but put all that aside and just look at the gameplay of the loot explosions, the legendaries that do all sorts of things, your character skills. How would you describe what makes Borderlands 4 better than, and different than the Borderlands 3 core gameplay?
Yeah. For one, I think that the legendaries are better in Borderlands 4 all around because I feel like they paid more attention to compounding features. So the ways that guns and shields and gear can enhance are very synergistic with the things that are in your skill tree, and it's intuitive. So it's not like you have to read between the lines to find something that works. Like coming out of the gate, you're like, oh, I got it. I kind of get the vibe that Harlow's about spreading, at least the skill tree I did. Oh, she's about really spreading this radiation status effect. So immediately I'm like, how do I make sure I can apply it more readily, more consistently? I farmed for an artifact that gives me 100% status effect, with every trigger pull. So every time I pull the trigger, I'm applying it. That's one thing out the gate. Boom. Every time I pull the trigger, I got that radiation. I have 3 ways of spreading the radiation to other things. So if I apply it to one guy, I have 3 other things in my build that are making sure that it reaches other folks too and spreads it throughout the entire arena. Okay, well, now I want to start applying extra stacks to one guy. Instead of 1 stack of radiation, what if I can do 6? So I've farmed for gear that increases the status effect duration. So it's lasting a lot longer so that I can snowball it on the same guy. So 1 stack, 2 stack, 3 stacks, 4, etc. And now I've also found a stim that I stab myself in the arm with a needle. Now I get a plus 25% bonus to all status effect damage. So it's pretty intuitive. You know, it's not like you have to read between the lines. You just know what you want to go for. How do I make that happen? You farm for the gear that gives it. But so not only that, but like the speed with which you can do this farming is so much better than in previous Borderlands games. They have these they're like a picture of Moxie right outside of every single boss in the game. So you kill the boss, and then there's a teleporter at the end of the boss fight. You can keep going if you want to move on to something else, but there's a teleporter that takes you right back to the beginning of the boss fight. You put a little bit of currency, and I mean it's pennies, into this little machine that says, okay, we'll reset the boss fight for you. You're basically like 1 green item will offset the cost, and a boss drops like 20 items. So it's no money at all. Resets the boss, you go back in, so it's literally you can farm this, you can kill the same boss 3 times in 1 minute. It's so rapid. So not only that, but the ways that you can, they eliminated a lot of menu time, because now you can, instead of just E picks up a gun, now it's like, well, I can hit E to pick up the gun and put it in my inventory. I can hold it to equip it, or I can hit Q to put it right in my junk pile because it's worth a lot of money and I want to sell it. I can flag it to go into my bank. So next time I'm at the bank and I open up my inventory, I don't have to scroll through 50 items to be like, what was the thing I wanted to save? I already flagged it as a bank item because I wanted it for my other character. So I just hit the filter, I hit bank tab, and boom, everything I wanted to bank is right there for me. So they eliminated a lot of the downtime, and I think it's one of the things that makes Borderlands 4 so much more enjoyable, is because I'm spending less time in menus and more time killing stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's interesting. We're 6 years later, and from my perspective, it's like, look, I totally get the tonal feedback, and just like when it originally launched, like Borderlands 3, it just didn't stick for some people because of those reasons. But like from a gameplay perspective, I'm like, it's still very Borderlands. I think like everything loads so much faster, but it's a big new open world where before it just had a bunch of worlds you had to load into, and it's not like drastically different, but it's just smarter, it's tighter, and you feel that technological polish, I think, as well. I'm only about 20 hours into the game or something like that. So, or I'm level 20, sorry, but I don't remember how many hours I've played. But in a very good way, meaning I still liked Borderlands 3. You did a lot of the same things, right? They had this skill trees were very similar in a lot of ways. And what is interesting as well is they did a lot of stuff to address community feedback, like after, the 6 months after, the year after. Yeah, they got to the point even where I forget exactly how it worked in 3, where like you had to keep going back to the menu, and they like addressed that and had a way that you were like instantly back into fights and stuff like that. And basically a lot of that is carried through. So this is, I think, the Borderlands that people wanted back then. And I just get the sense that that's what we have now. But I think from playing a first-person looter shooter, it's good. It's Borderlands. It's what I expect. It's what I want. But I'm not feeling like, oh my god. But that's also personal, where like I've just played so many loot games that I'm a little like, it's nice when I don't have to look at loot, to be quite honest with you. Like, I'm not looking forward to Division 3 for that reason. And yet I'm looking very forward to Division 3, if that makes sense. So
yeah.
That's
I haven't been playing a lot of looters lately. I've been living in Marvel Rivals, and there's no loot. You just play.
Just skins.
Right?
Yeah.
But no, it's really solid. It feels really tight. I'm playing Amon, and it's funny. I've only stuck in one skill tree because I'm like just messing. So as an example, one of his action skills, action skill is like throwing axes. But even within that tree, you can turn those axes into other things like a hammer or other stuff.
Yeah.
And that's just within that one tree. I haven't even tried the main reason I chose him originally, I was like, oh, he can punch far and I can like close the gap. I'm like, psh, that sounds great. I love to do that because sometimes I hate like running down an enemy, and I haven't even touched it yet because this skill tree is, yeah, it's intuitive, it's interesting, and it's not even powerful for me yet. Like I have very little synergy because I haven't farmed anything, and it's been enjoyable. So yeah, I'm looking forward to hitting that when you cross over and you're like, ooh, you know, you feel the wheels start to spin, so to speak, in terms of your build.
Yeah,
So
I think it takes a while for it to come online. Like, even though you might have an idea of what you want, like things don't start rolling with multiple like mods on them for a little bit, and then but once you start getting that, you start thinking about what you could see and use.
Yeah, and I think that's good. Whether or not they needed it sooner, more stuff, you know, to grab you earlier, Myelin, in your example. I don't know. I think it
No, I think
goes
it's
back to
fine.
maybe what I said
Yeah.
before, which is you're like, dude, I could just play some Witchfire, right? Like I already know I'm gonna have some fun, and then it's like, I can't. You want me to play this for 15 hours to get the good stuff? Like I don't know, man.
And to
And
be
we all
fair,
go through that.
previous Borderlands games, you had to hit level 5 before you could unlock your
Yeah.
action skill. You get it at level 2 in
True.
Borderlands 4. They're like, no, let's
Yeah.
just get you powerful now. And I did respect that. So
Yeah.
I guess I didn't feel like, I don't know, maybe it was just the tree I went down. I didn't feel like it took me very long at all to get into a niche with my character, because like you're leveling up pretty quickly out the gate. Like within the first 2 hours of gameplay, you're probably level 4, level 5. And at that point, you have your action skill, and you've probably filled out all 5 points in a single node. So already within 2 hours, I'm like, okay, I have an action skill, and I'm doing 25% extra radiation damage. So I already know exactly what I'm looking for when guns drop. Like, okay, I want elemental, I want radiation as the element. I want a high status effect chance. You know, so I felt like I had a pretty good understanding of where I was headed right out of the gate. But maybe that was just the way that I was playing.
Yeah, I don't know with Vex, like you just basically get the summon the cat, right? And yeah, it wasn't until I
Nothing
moved to a
pulling you
different
past that
skill,
yet.
different skill tree.
Like TV was saying, but it's just part of Borderlands, though, and it's not that you haven't done this mod, so don't take it the wrong way. But like really reading the skill tree and they do. I don't know if it's the same for Vex, but you can see very clearly there's a couple paths that are just more obvious and intuitive. That doesn't mean they're the best, but it will. Like in Amon, as an example, I haven't done it because of my weapons, but it's like there's a very clear shock path, as an example. It's like, oh yeah, I could definitely build in the shock if I wanted, but I don't really have the weapons and time that I want to spend on that. So I'm just letting things kind of come together as they may. But sometimes that's a matter of like really looking to see where those dots connect in those trees, if you feel like you need something to pull you, you know.
Did 2 streams of it and I uninstalled.
So yeah, I mean, Watts, give us your read on it, because I had understood maybe that it wasn't that you didn't like it, you just didn't want to play it.
Well, it's so my thing with first person PvE games is they're just not really my thing in general. I was kind of talking on stream a bit about it today of why I think that is, but I get really bored and they make me really sleepy, and that's why I don't play like I never played a lot of Destiny PvE. And that's why I'm like, well, I could never keep playing Destiny if I'm just playing PvE, because that's not what I want and it's not what I enjoy. So I've played all of Borderlands 2 and 3, and it's always kind of been like I'm like pushing myself to finish the game. So I kind of figured it would be a similar experience in 4, and it was. Like shooting feels really good, movement feels really good. I will say that melee I think feels pretty bad. I think melee.
You got to spec into it. You basically have to have a melee override ability.
I was using melee Rafa.
Do you mean weak unresponsive or weak?
Yeah,
weak?
I mean bad feedback. Like the feedback of when you're hitting enemies with Rafa's ability with his knives is not. There's just not a lot of feedback there. There's not a lot of It doesn't look. It kind of just when you're looking at it, it looks like you're just slicing through like something super soft. So it's kind of hard to tell when you're hitting something. That feedback is just like not there really. Which is unfortunate, because that was the only build and the only character and the only playstyle that I was interested in. So I was like, that kind of sucks. But yeah, it's just not the type of game that I enjoy anymore. Even in general, growing up, I never played first person games. First person games, me enjoying them is like it's like a surprise more than like, oh, I'm definitely gonna really like this thing. So it's just not what I'm looking for. I get really bored playing them, and I'm just kind of standing around waiting for them to finish talking so they can
Yeah.
update the quest and tell me where to go next. And that's just not really my vibe. So I can definitely tell that and I'm really happy that it is a good Borderlands for people that really like Borderlands and for people that also like FPS, they like looters. I think if you're in any of those groups of people, you'll probably have a really good time with this game, but it's just not. It's not for me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's
totally
nothing
fair.
wrong with that, right? I mean, it's like trying to get somebody who doesn't like turn-based RPG elements and playing some game that has it to be like, no, but the game's really good. And it's like, well, I'm sure it is for you, but I don't like that stuff. I mean, I do, but yeah, I
Third
don't think you should feel
person
bad about it.
the action games are really my jam. And everything below that is like I'm going to have less fun, but I could really like it. And then it just goes further down, and FPS is like right at the bottom.
Yeah, like what are some FPSs that can you think of any where you're like, well, that was okay because it was a first-person shooter style that you liked? So anything even stand out?
I think probably there was the indie game where you played it, Myelin, Robo Quest. I
Yeah,
think
Rogue. That's a
those
rogue light.
yeah, those like super
Mm.
fast-paced roguelike games, and I think it's because they're so fast-paced. There's like 80 things trying to attack you at once. And then you're
It's a
also
shooter.
like making builds on the fly. I think it's enough to keep my brain engaged. But I was having this conversation on stream, and I'm saying that like I think with first-person games, there's just less that those games can do enemy design wise, you player expression wise than like a third person combat game, because it's just the nature of first person games. It's the same as like, if you're playing an FPS PvP game, there's just less that they can do than if you're playing like a fighting game or a MOBA. There's just less because it's the nature of the genre of the game. So I think with like RoboQuest and games that are like that, I have more fun with them because there's just so much going on at any given time that my brain stays active. But if it's like a listening to story and whether it's putting the ghost to hack a thing or whether it's waiting for a character to hack a thing as I kill enemies as they come and try and stop us, I just get kind of bored doing it.
Fair enough.
I mean, that's pretty much how I felt until I got the loot hook, and I think you have to be in it. It's like Path of Exile. It's like the other things. Like some of the moment-to-moment gameplay is okay. It's farming, it's grinding, it's whatever. I mean, if you're doing I think where Borderlands makes up for it is the open world side quests and stuff. If you're into that humor and world, that can keep you going along for a bit longer. But like I was just going for the main campaign. I was like, I'm just running through this area, shooting these dudes, and then running next area, shooting more dudes. But it wasn't until I got some of that synergy with the loot, and you feel that like power fantasy, then you get like that motivation. Like, okay, now I want to go like farm this boss for this specific thing to make me more powerful. And then okay, now I'm actually like one-shotting bosses. Okay, that's pretty cool. And then I'll move on to like the next thing. And I think I'm kind of like you. The reason why I like roguelites is you get that like really early on. You get like the gameplay mechanics. You get those things happening really early on. It gets taken away from you, but like you'll get it in the first couple runs, and you might feel the power of a lightning build. You're like, oh, that's kind of fun, and then you start again.
I'm glad you brought that up because I know I've commented on that a lot of games where I often wonder where I'm like, yeah, I kind of like that. I love the Metroid style where it's like, oh yeah, we gave you some of your powers early on and you got to like feel that and then understand that. Whereas I think a lot of us, it's like, well, we've already played Borderlands, so I know the power that awaits me. And in some of these games, like, yeah, they just, like all games, it's like, well, you shouldn't expect to be powerful until later. But there's something to it sometimes when they give you a little preview.
A little
kind
taste,
of wonder.
yeah.
I wonder how that would have felt.
Here's your full gear set, and then you lose it all, wash up on the beach with with your despair panties on. You start again.
Oh, is that what they do in that too? Yeah, something to it sometimes. Yeah, I can't wait because I haven't felt that yet. Where I've gone into a fight and it has really started to like synergize because I just don't have the weapons yet, and I haven't farmed. But I think when that happens, I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, this is fun, you know.
Yeah, and I think that's the other thing is like I don't even want that. So it's like it's just not a game for me.
Yeah.
The only thing that is similar to that I think I really enjoy is Neo with the loot. But it's
Yeah,
within a
that's right.
genre that I really like. So
What is that first person Souls like that we are talking about last week? That's set in, like,
Valamortis.
yeah. What do you think about? Are you excited for that?
Yeah, it's not a first person shooter.
Yeah.
So I think it opens it up a little bit more, and like they're really focused on having melee combat feel
Yeah.
really good. Yeah, so
Yeah, I think
and it's not sci-fi. I'll be honest. Listen, I can like some sci-fi stuff, but when there's a character yapping in my ear, giving like 15 different sci-fi terms that are not real, I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't have to explain
can't-
this made up bullshit.
I can't follow what's going on.
The quantum
I
flux
don't-
refractor.
Yeah, I'm just like, okay. So that
Yeah, maybe some
also
of it's-
makes me tune it out because I'm just like, I don't know what you're saying. So
yeah,
it's
maybe
not
some of
okay.
the, like the style. I mean, that can turn people off too, of like sci-fi in general or whatever it is. But yeah, I'm hoping whenever the time is right, you should just wait until Witchfire's finished. But like, I wonder if Witchfire will
Yeah, I'll
somehow
definitely
be
try
the one where you're like,
Witchfire when
oh,
it's out,
as a
yeah.
first-person shoot. It's
think
the
you'll like
only thing
Witchfire.
that has the DNA where I'm like, maybe this is the one where it's Dark Souls, you know, first.
Maybe you'll like
shooter,
this
basically.
broccoli.
Yeah,
Yeah.
See, I don't think it's
I'm
like that.
just, I'm waiting for Silent Hill F. I'm so excited for
Mm.
Silent Hill F. That's
That's
gonna
coming
be,
out in like a few days,
guarantee you,
right?
it's gonna be like a 90. Easy.
Is that coming out
think.
next week?
Man.
It comes out next week. Yeah, I'll be playing it on Tuesday or Wednesday. One of them.
It might be too scary for me. I'm gonna pick it up, but it might be.
It looks.
Might be a
so,
no-go.
well, actually, yeah. So, there was someone who leaked a review. I think it might have been their first ever time doing a review because they were
Oh,
like,
boy.
"No,
Might be the
the
last time."
embargo it's totally fine." I read it over and over again. I'm like,
Yet nobody has the review up, and
no one has
surely
a
I'm
review.
the first one.
I'm the
They're like-
first.
They're like, I didn't put spoilers in it. I just gave my score and my impressions. Fran's
Like, yeah.
dying. You should read it, Fran. It's really funny. It's Dual Shockers. It's a reviewer. They put it on Reddit what they thought about the game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but they were like, there's a couple. So there was Famitsu has put out like their scores, but not their full review. And then there was this leaked one. And people have said, like, at least from these two things, they're like, no, seriously, listen to the warnings because they're not kidding. Like it's a serious, it wants to mess you up video game.
Mm.
So
Ooh.
Maybe I'll just
yeah, I'm
listen
looking
to
forward
you
to
guys
try it
talk
out.
about it.
Just
well,
keep on Dead Space for now. That's my, but never
So-
4 into it.
you know when you're not logged into Steam and they give you like a description, you have to be over a certain age, and here's why. For Silent Hill, I'm gonna read you how they describe the content and why you have to be 18. This game contains depictions of gender discrimination, child abuse, bullying, drug-induced hallucinations, torture, and graphic violence. This game is set in Japan in the 1960s and contains depictions based on the customs and culture of that time. These depictions do not reflect the opinions or values of the developers or any individuals involved. If you feel uncomfortable at any point while playing, please take a break from playing or speak to someone you trust.
Wow.
Whoa.
Now, normally they're like, this has gore. So I was like, oh.
This was like, we are gonna send you to a therapist.
Exactly. Yeah. Maybe if you're having problems, go speak to someone. Okay. Good.
Yeah, it's so. Part of me is like glad that they're doing that. You know, it's better to be more vocal. But part of me is also like, yeah, it's like if you're going to the theater to see like really gory, messed up films, and then like it affects you, which people have made mistakes, right? Have done that.
Yeah.
It's like, well, what did you think you were going to say? Well,
You know
you should have
what?
walked
I
out or
thought
whatever.
the same, Fran, until I watched Taco P's Original Sin, and they had a Japanese translated and an English warning, and I'm like, yes, there should be a warning. That
Yeah.
will mess. And I seek out these experiences, but that
Yeah.
was a show that I was like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think it's a good thing because, like, you're not going to spoil an experience by warning someone. It could be traumatic for them or just really make them think, in certain ways that they weren't prepared
I think
for. So
especially
I
with
don't think that's a bad
child
thing.
abuse stuff, because Taco Bee was
Yeah.
the same thing. Like child abuse and child suicide stuff is like maybe we should
Yeah,
tell
well,
'em
that's what's
specifically.
tough. I mean, that already. Just the
Terrible.
number of things you said in that warning, I was like, wow, that does sound intense. But
Yeah,
there are people
yeah.
who have trigger points like all kinds, and sometimes I think
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
hard to like warn people of
It is,
without
for sure.
spoiling as well. But
Yeah.
anyway, I'm glad they're doing it. I'll be honest, I did not realize like Silent Hill's always just been generally like horrifically gory and mentally like just messed up.
It's a bit
But
different this time.
thematically, that sounds even worse.
It's being written by Dukishi07, who is a manga writer, and he writes like if you check out any of his work, you'll get a pretty good idea about what he does right away. And this game, so a lot of people don't realize with Silent Hill F, it's like, yeah, it's a Silent Hill and it's like gross monsters and it's so scary in this fog. But because you're playing as a girl who's coming into womanhood in 1960s Japan, he also, the writer specifically wanted to tackle what it was like being in that time period and becoming a woman and living as a girl turning into a woman in that time period. So it really does go into, gender discrimination and girlhood and expectations and her battling with those expectations and loneliness that you can feel. So, I was like, damn, interesting. I'm really excited.
Yeah.
That sounds terrible. I'm in.
Yeah. Relive trauma of girlhood. It's good. It's good.
Okay. What the
the
fuck's
de-
going
okay.
on with Destiny?
Dude, the vibes. Okay. So that was my question, Briar. I was like, I feel like all I'm hearing is bad stuff. I want to go do some research and see what's going on. And then I was
Look,
like,
I'm not even getting
my.
past the thumbnails over here. That's how deep my contact with Destiny is at this point. I see Fallout saying this shit sucks. I'm like, okay, Fallout.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, what's unfortunate is, okay, so I will never cheer for Destiny to fail. I'm always cheering for Destiny to succeed, right? Destiny's got a very special place in my heart. I know a lot of the devs, and they're very passionate people, care very much about what they're making. But to see, like, even Dylan sort of breaking form a little bit, DMG on Twitter, and being like, man, guys, it kind of sucks for us right now. We didn't get the momentum we were looking for, and then to get even more flack for just even admitting that, I felt bad for him for sure. He had a rough week, but they did the Renegades reveal. Everyone was pretty hyped about it, pretty universally hyped about it. I don't think I saw a single bad thing about Renegades. Everyone was pretty excited about what they saw coming down the pipe. But then the Ash and Iron update hit, and it was a buggy mess. And I had to take notes because I was like losing track of how many bugs. They had the Sturm bug, which was like, Sturm and Drang, where if you get kills with Drang, it charges up Sturm. Sturm shoots more powerful bullets. Well, apparently with the update, something went wrong, and the Sturm scaling buff just applied to everything you did, whether it was your super, a punch, a melee, whatever it was. So like, you can get like I've got a 10 times damage buff on my super. It's like, holy cow. So people are like solo nuking raid bosses. Taken Blights got bugged, and a lot of the quests have Taken Blights in them. So if you like touch one, it doesn't do a little tick damage anymore. It just nukes you and you die the second you touch it. So
that's like Silksong.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, all this is sounding great so far.
Overpowered
buffs.
They had
did
like
a Metroidvania, so it makes sense, right?
Yeah, there you go.
yeah,
exactly.
The new Ash and Iron like story progression quests that you have, like ritual quests that you have to do to progress through the seasonal whatever they're calling it these days content. Had issues with just like accidentally killing you, and you have a limited number of lives in them, so people would get like, they're like, I'm not even doing anything wrong. The game just keeps killing me. I can't complete the quest.
God, that's not good.
PvP matches were ending after 7 kills. So PvP matches were over in like 30 seconds, But so all the bugs definitely were getting to people. But I think the thing that really sent people over the edge was Bungie had communicated So we're bringing back Iron Banner and with this new, like, guys, it's a really sick Iron Banner armor set. You're gonna love it. And then what happened was,
Let me
long
guess.
story short,
Eververse.
that armor set, somebody decided was not going to be an Iron Banner anymore. It was going straight to the store because it looked too cool. And it was
Yep.
silver only. And then instead, after they hyped up this new armor set, it was just a year one Destiny 2 launch Iron Banner armor
It had a
set.
different color.
Boy.
It just had some different colors on it. It's dead.
Yeah.
So people were pissed. And honestly, rightfully so. Like, that's a bull crap move right there.
Because they also
no matter how you spin it.
took Iron Banner away to improve it. So,
Uh-huh.
like, we're
Man, I've
taking it
heard of that.
away, and then we're launching it with this super cool armor. It's gonna be new and fresh and great. And then it's
Uh-huh.
like it's the same,
And-
and we don't get
and there's-
cool armor.
And there's no hiding it because the armor set, they showed like teaser art for it, and it had the Iron Banner logo right on the armor set. But then the armor set goes to Eververse instead, and the Iron Banner logo is conveniently removed.
Yeah.
So they just like whitewashed the Iron Banner logo and threw it in the store for money. It's a real bullcrap move. Obviously, you gotta assume that's a higher up decision.
Yeah, I think
that
the
was
CEO
made.
should step down. This is not sounding
But
right to me.
anyways,
And this is kind of
all-
on the back of like the most grindiest season ever, right?
That's
This
right.
is like
That's
on
right.
Yeah.
top of just coming off like the power grind is ridiculous.
Yeah. So they were basically like, we're gonna fix it, guys. We hear you, and we're fixing the power grind system, and here's the update. And the update's like considerably worse in terms of just like you just can't do the things. Things are just broken. Everything's just broken. So, anyways, I definitely feel for them, but also at the same time, I'm looking at some of those bugs, and I'm just like, how did that get shipped? I want to give grace, and I want to be understanding. Like, I'm not going to pretend that game development is easy. I know enough developers to know that is absolutely not the case. But that's kind of a yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, to me it's interesting. I thought we were going to see more of this level of problem around Edge of Fate, but it seems like they managed, other than like all the stuff with the raid, I guess, and some, there were some launch troubles, but I think just all this stuff has caught up with them in terms of the size of the QA team, the size of the content they're making, and it might just be they're still grappling with like how much can we do with the resources we have, and this is the result. And to me, I would look at it and think like, yeah, like it's unlikely the team's going to size up, so it probably means you need to like focus more on what the audience wants and only that, and pare things down. So I don't know if that's what it is, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is kind of the state of that direction for a little while till they get Marathon out the door and kind of course correct. Really frankly, it's the revenue, right, and the size of the team. I'm sure the QA team is like, guys, like this is why we need to hire some more people, and they're like, sorry. Is there? I mean, I don't know if this is true. Is there a hiring
Please help.
freeze?
Yeah.
Like there may be
Maybe.
a hiring freeze for the most part for stuff like that, and I'm sure they're working through all of it. But yeah, it's a bummer to hear, and obviously I saw like a lot of the creator, like it's always like the first few creators that of have a couple of those bad headlines that go up, and then they all start coming out. You're like, oh, this is like everybody's feeling this way. That's not a good sign.
And what's unfortunate
That's
about
where-
that from the outside looking in is like I've stepped away from Destiny. It's not because I hate the game. I just lost interest, and I've been doing it for 10 years, wanted to play something else. But I'm also like, there's part of me that's like, I want Destiny to give me a reason to love it again. I want Destiny to give me a reason to want to come back. And I think that there's probably a lot of players out there like me that don't dislike Destiny. They have a really positive, they had a very positive experience with the game. They just moved on to other stuff in the meantime. They want the game to succeed, and they're ready in the wings for Bungie to deliver a new experience that's going to suck them back in and make them relive that again. And it's just not happening. Update after
It's not
update, release
happening.
after release, DLC after DLC. I'm waiting for it to happen. And then the optics from the outside looking in are all bad. I haven't seen a single thumbnail of somebody who's like, "This is so awesome," loving it. And it's a shame because it does affect me as somebody who's wanting a reason to get back in, and I just don't see one yet.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think they've having a combo of problems, and it's definitely made worse by seeing Iron Banner stuff, which are like decision problems. They're not bugs or that. It's like a very
Yep.
clear decision to move stuff into Eververse, similar to like the grinding. Very clear like development decision to like try to have people spend more time in the game doing this by making not more activities, but just making the grind more difficult. But then you've got like QA stuff on top of that, and then like that storm together. Like I think a lot of the QA stuff could be forgiven if Bungie was acting in a way that just felt like they were doing right by their players, but it just constantly feels like they're not doing right by their community with decisions they make with Eververse or just in general, like, you know, how long you have to grind to reach, you know, the max level and the rewards you're getting. Like we shouldn't be having the same conversations about not being rewarded for your time in a game that's a decade old.
Sure.
And it's I'm sure current players have a hard time like swallowing that and being like, well, why are we still having the same conversations for the last 10 years? And then you get the QA stuff on top of it, and it's just like a perfect storm of like not having fun, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think for what it's worth, though, if you're a very casual Destiny player or it's just you've taken a break for a long time, you're like, well, I don't know. I keep thinking about jumping in. I'd say if you want to like grind and stuff, like all these problems, like it's just not a good time to do it. But Edge of Fate, I thought it was fine. You know, I thought it was enjoyable. I thought the story and some of the delivery of those cinematics was good. So meaning if you can play it in that, like I didn't even hit power level 200, right? Which now I think it goes up to 500. But I'm okay with that. I'm like, I'm not trying to do all that other stuff that comes after it. So I think that if you're just down and you're like, yeah, I just want to play Destiny, you know, campaign with a friend, yeah, it's fine. You know, you turn into a little Metroid ball and not everything's perfect, but it's okay. And in other words, it's not as bad as all this other stuff you're hearing about to just play that part. I mean, presumably, unless,
But
well,
here's the thing, Fran. I
unless all
don't
those
think you're the
bugs are
typical. You're not
prevalent
the
in there.
typical Destiny player in doing that.
No, I know that. Yeah, but that's what I'm getting at is if, like I said, if you're lapsed, if you just are, you know, all you hear is all this other stuff about grinding Destiny, because you'll hear the same thing in like the Diablo community. Nobody's going to tell you to go, other, you know, again, other than me, I guess, to go and play like, what is it, Vessel of Hatred is awesome. It's a great expansion. And I would actually play both Diablo, the campaign, and the expansion. And that's all I'm trying to point out is in that same vein. It's like, yeah, it's okay. Like, you know, you might enjoy for the, I don't know if it was $40 or whatever for Edge of Fate. You might enjoy that part. But yeah, everything else, if you're looking to do, then yeah, like meaning it is pretty Debbie Downer about that stuff. And I was just trying to draw that line. But yeah, I feel the same way about Diablo. Like if you're like, oh, how's Diablo? A real Diablo player right now will be like, don't even touch it, don't bother. I mean, presumably that's what it's like. They'll tell you to play Path of Exile where there is a silver lining of like, well, maybe you just want to play the campaign with a friend and it's actually really solid. Just putting it out there. It's not all the worst. But then again, I did forget that I don't know what the new bugs have done. And when I tried to play Ashen Iron, the new update, the name for that, it did. I don't know if it's my computer or not. I was crashing during Edge of Fate, but I ended up, it crashed. It wasn't running right. Like, I don't know what was going on. So that could be a problem if you're on PC. I don't know.
We have time to talk about Shadow of the Herb Tree?
We probably should. Yeah.
I'm keeping people waiting. I don't think it'll take more than the 10 minutes here. We could even have a part 2.
We never talk about Elden Ring for long.
If we get there.
Yeah. You could leave with like, and on that note, we'll see next.
Yeah. A cliffhanger.
A cliffhanger, yeah.
You're gonna get stuck on the boss conversation. Yeah. Well, where do we start? I mean, I think it stemmed from I finally beat
from
it.
You, my friend.
Yeah.
I think some people had quit playing it here, and like so we had this mix of like, well, let's wait until Fran beats it because, you know, I've been talking about it for like a year. So anyway, in short, I love Elden Ring in general. I've played like 400 plus hours of the base game, and I love the style of everything. I earned so many of the weapons, and exploring in Elden Ring, such an amazing artistic world, and so polished and so loving, you know, from FromSoft. So I loved everything about that, and the DLC exhibits a ton of that. But in short, a couple things. So I'm not going to spoil, or maybe we will this episode. Warn if you do, I guess.
I think it's safe to spoil. Don't you think?
Yeah, I guess we're getting into spoiler cast
I
territory
would
here,
think
right?
so. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
does anyone here on this podcast care?
No.
Okay.
No.
So, yeah, like the last boss is actually really cool, being, Radon mixed with Mikola, like this really cool, just
Mixed
a cool
with
boss
Moog.
design.
Give Moog his body back.
Yeah.
Assholes.
Oh, yeah. But anyway, what I didn't like is when you beat it, I was confused that I beat it, just standing there like an idiot, waiting for, I mean, you do get a small cutscene, and it is, like DLC, and I understand that, but I felt really like, I guess just kind of betrayed it, like the amount of time I spent in a pretty big world here. And then I was like,
Mhm.
what else? Is this it? Nothing's happening. So was I the only one that felt that way? I know not everybody here beat it, but
I did.
I had a major gripe there.
I did see some discussions after, like, as people were trying to figure out, like, what happens after you beat it. I think pretty much everyone was like, that cutscene is kind of unnecessary because, like, at the point when you show it, we already know that information. So either have that cutscene come earlier or have, like, a more fleshed out cutscene, maybe with him actually talking to Radon and seeing how all of that went down. And then people were saying that, like, it would have been nice if maybe some NPCs like talked about the fact that you've kind of destroyed everything now and prevented everything from happening. You do get some extra stuff based on NPC quests that you've done, that does flesh things out a little bit more. But I listen, I know this
But
is
I
gonna
wanted
sound
credits.
this is gonna sound like me being a FromSoft apologist, but just like I did with Silksong, with the reason why it's such a pain in the ass and you have to pay for benches and everything. I do think that at the end when you take down Radon, you have killed all of Marika's kids. They're all gone. You've destroyed like that whole lineage. You've stopped all of that from happening. All of your friends are dead. You can literally wear their armor and use their weapons. Everyone is gone, and you are just
How we
left
do.
alone. And you've not. It's like you've stopped things, but that's it. Everything's gone. Everything's dead. You're alone. That's it. So I think that part of that feeling of like emptiness is kind of intended, where you finish that and you're like, it's empty, because it is. The emptiness that you feel is the emptiness that you've created with everyone being dead trying to help you and all the people that you've killed.
Can you bring your character back into the main game after you've completed it? After you completed Shadow of the Herb
You
Tree?
mean like another new game plus or something?
No. So like you're not done. You're not necessarily done with Elden Ring when you enter the DLC.
Well, if you beat Elden Ring already, and you know what I mean. Let's say you did everything in the base game and then you beat the DLC.
Yeah.
That maybe is the point here, right? Like it's not like it ends and you go to some new game plus for DLC, or you get credits, or
But not necessarily
right?
everybody's done that, right? It's like because it
no, but in other words,
starts-
you could throughout the experience you could always go back and do
Oh, okay.
stuff in the base world
Yeah,
however
yeah.
you want.
Yeah.
Because this kind of it comes after. But that was the point. I mean, Watts, I totally hear you. It was I think it's just this combination of things where it's like it's a huge game from now, billion-dollar franchise, and like maybe part of it you're like, wow, that's your expectation. This is just DLC, and this is how they do it. But that's the feeling I got, where it was like, well, it's just DLC. Of course, there's no credits and like no huge like moment for all your work. That's what bothers me. I feel like I did all this work, really had to. I mean, the exploration was the other aspect of it. It just is not as enjoyable, at least it was not for me, as the main game. It was a wondrous, beautiful experience, and I just explored every nook and cranny. And it's bigger, to be fair. There's a lot more to do, but I feel like they tried to stretch that feeling in the DLC, but then they also convoluted it even more than it was, that it was frustrating. I'm like, can I just move on, And it wasn't that I was stuck, it's that I was trying to pick up Scattertree fragments. And I'm like, I don't even know where these are at, because they're not like going to necessarily be at a boss, It had this Easter egg hunt aspect, so I want to be clear, I really liked Elden Ring DLC, but it missed the mark for me on feeling like this, second wondrous experience as a follow-up. It just was a little too frustrating without a strong conclusion. for me.
I understand. Yeah, for me, I loved every second of it, and I loved the story in Shadow of the Erdtree more than base Elden Ring. Um, I was enamored with the story and the world of and finding out more
And some of these
about
bosses are
Marika and yeah, her hidden child, her first kid, and like all of that, and what happened to her people was really crazy, and I loved finding that out. But I can definitely agree with like I think exploration wasn't as like fluid. It didn't kind of guide you as well as Elden Ring.
as if
Because
it did
Elden
in the
Ring
first one.
is like is a wide open world, but it feels like it does guide you to things quite easily. And with Shadow of the Erdtree, I think even if you combed all of the areas, you're like, I really combed it. It's like you still miss stuff quite easily in Shadow of the Erdtree.
Yeah.
And then
It
I
feels
think
like
the
if you miss a path that's like miles away from the destination you're trying to get to, you could spend hours trying to get to some place that there's no nearby way to get to. It's like there's some
Yeah.
like
Right.
path
Yeah.
hidden in darkness somewhere, like on the other side of the map that you have to like follow around and through a cave, and and then you come to this spot that has all the shit you need to do in it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that and the end, I think it would have been nice if they had a more substantial cutscene of like Mikola talking to Radon initially, or him whatever seeing what he did with Moog's body, or if just after the fact maybe there was an NPC that commented on like the fact that all of Marika's kids are dead and the Shadow Realm has been kind of taken down and you stopped this thing from happening. I think that would have that was like
Yeah,
my
and
thing that was like, okay, I get that.
and it may be compounded in that I'm like my feeling is like this was maybe all we're gonna get from Elden Ring, of the main game here, because they said there wasn't gonna be more DLC or whatever.
Nope.
And knowing that, I was like, and still you leave it like this. I mean, they literally
That's kind of like From Software's thing, right? Like they
They
want
have
you
done
to
that a lot, yeah.
stew on it, right? They want you to play again and things to make more sense the second time round, or to watch videos and discuss about, like, that's their kind of storytelling. I don't think it's going to be
This is why
Yeah,
Elden
but
Ring lore
right?
videos have 1 million views.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah, and I mean, I'm still confused at what happened in the lore. So it's not that so much as I think if you look at the main game, right, it gives you a proper ending, and it
Right.
throws you into a new game. Plus, it has credits, a credits song. I just would have felt better, like throw me a bone. Would it have
But
killed you to
is it
produce like
technically
a
the
cool
DLC
cutscene?
like kind of in the middle of Elden Ring, like story wise?
No, it's after, right?
It's separate.
thought it-
So it could they just want you to the only important thing is that you kill Moog because that enables Mikola to use his body to put Radon into Moog's body.
Okay.
So that could happen. It could be something that happens in the middle. A lot of the things that happen that you learn about happen before Elden Ring
Right.
in like story wise.
Right.
But yeah, the whole like Radon Mikola thing happened whenever it is that you took down Moog. So that could be like somewhere in the middle. It could be towards the end. It could be after you take down the Elden Beast. It could kind of be anywhere.
Yeah. But regardless, like I get the how they do things, and that's just what they do. But it just wasn't rewarding in that sense. I feel like I worked really hard, and and even like I mean, you get your remembrance, right, and you can get a weapon and reward, but it just felt like nothing was there for me. But that I would say, to make it clear, it was less that there were no credits and whatever. But did you enjoy the game or not? That maybe that's what I would say to myself. And I'd be like, yeah, I really like the game a lot. But yeah, the exploration, like, it just was too convoluted and frustrating. So I'd dock it for some points there. And I didn't like the system of finding the scatter tree fragments as Easter eggs, like anywhere, sitting on a ledge, sometimes inside a hippo, sometimes like I don't know where or why. So you have me going all over this world with a map that is intentionally convoluted. And I found it frustrating, that system, versus in the base game, I always could hold on to my not souls, my runes, and they would have a purpose. I'm going to take another level. I'm going to use them to upgrade it. But I just felt like I was constantly running over the same areas of the map for finding a scato tree, and I was a little bummed by that.
I ended up cheating and looking at a map online to just find
No.
it.
Yeah. Did you
But
beat
yeah.
it in the end, or?
No, I never beat it. I just
Okay.
I don't know what it was. Is I loved Elden
Yeah,
Ring
it turned
so
you off.
dearly, and Shadow of the Herb Tree just kind of petered out. I didn't even get like stuck on a boss. I think I was just like exploring, and I just kind of like something else happened, and I just kind of stopped playing. You know?
It was a
There's
little
been
more
a lot
like,
of games like that for me too, where one day you just turn it off, and it's not that you were disliking it, you just never turned it back on. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
I think it speaks to that. I wouldn't be surprised if it is, again, the map and guidance, two things, combined there. It's like, you get a little frustrated. You're like, it's taking me a while to get to the next spot. Like I want to, but I'm like, I don't even know where to go. And I don't want to look it up.
The base
So-
game was magical in the way that it felt like every time you turned a corner, there was like 3 things you could do there. There's something to discover. There's something to explore. There's just always a mystery. And the DLC it didn't quite have that same feeling to it. It definitely had cool stuff in it. Like there was definitely a lot of cool shit in that map. But it just, I don't know. Yeah.
Yep.
It was too hard for me. Too hard. I rage quit.
Yeah, you crashed out and uninstalled.
I crashed out.
But didn't you reinstall it and give it one last try or something, or no?
For the
Yeah, I think I
charity, you
did.
went back. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Played
Yeah.
it.
You were
Yeah.
you were forced for
was forced.
charity to even look at it again.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I was
Uh,
playing through and I was like, I was think every stream I was like, guys, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Until I was learning about the lore, and then I think I cried going to the Shaman Village. Shaman Village is when I cried because yeah, the lore in Shadow of the Earth Tree is awful.
Yeah.
Terrible. Terrible
I mean,
torture of a whole group of people is really bad.
How much side research would you say you have to do to really understand it?
I think you can understand a lot from reading everything, but the thing where it can be complicated is like figuring out the timeline of stuff. So you're like, okay, I know this happened, I know this happened, I don't know when it happened or like who did it. So now it's super easy because everyone's finished their videos on Shadow of the Erd Tree. So you can just watch like some lore videos and you can get all the story right there. Initially, it was actually, this is why I love playing these games when they first come out, because as you're playing it, you see people talking about their theories and they're like, oh my God, I just found this note and it says this. And that means that this means this. And it means that this statue is this. And it's
is
really,
fun.
it's a really fun community thing to be a part of as people are realizing stuff about the lore. Yeah, but I don't think you need to, now it's super easy. Now you can just watch like a video.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know
I
anything
need to
about
do
Elden Ring lore at all, but I do remember the stream where I got to the second region world boss. I forget her name, but it's like a school.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
during the boss fight, I'm just going through the motions until suddenly it strikes me like, oh my gosh, I'm literally beating children with a giant hammer. Like I am smashing children with a hammer, and I'm just now realizing like, whoa, hold up, am I the bad guy?
Yeah, she has a sad story.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that I would feel overall better if I invested and watched, kind of boned up on my
think
Elden
so.
Ring lore, that I'd be like, okay, well, I see more of like, there's more enjoyment and understand that. But I mean, it speaks to the game, and their style. And I think that some people love it. And others, yeah, like me, I do like to be spoon fed some of this, and part of it is streaming and reading my chat at the same time and not paying as much attention when I should sometimes. And that's on me. But even that aside, like some games are way more crystal clear and obvious, and this one is very like convoluted.
That's why I think you would like Lies of P, because Lies of P definitely spells out a lot for you. But then if you want to delve deeper and learn more about the specific people or the things or the events, then you can do that. So it kind of has a really good mixture of both. And this is actually why I was even excited about Silent Hill again, because they do a lot of the reading and the lore is in the reading of the items and stuff. I find it really fun because you like piece it together with chat, and it's like, guys, we just found this. You're like, wait, does that mean that means is that thing? Then you get to have like a whole moment on stream where you're just kind of like talking about this moment you discovered together, and that's really fun. So now I have a lore notebook. I have like a game notebook about game stuff, and then we have a lore notebook. So I'm like,
Oh man.
okay, I found this thing. I'm gonna write down, okay, blah 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 blah, and then we can go back on the notebook and look at it.
Maybe I need to start doing that. Yeah.
Notebooks are great.
Yeah.
I'm a furious
mean,
note taker. I've got notebooks on hand all.
Oh, they're so good. Like even in games that you think you don't really need a notebook for, I've found that I have gotten something positive from keeping notes on it.
Yeah. No, for sure. And it's funny because I often had referred to as, I think Elden Ring or what FromSoft does is like pen and paper RPG influences. I just get that sense from them. Like that's how they approach it. And they're like, well, yeah, I mean, that's what you should be doing. You should have wrote that down. Like, that's how it works.
Hell is Us is like made for that kind of play. So I've also really enjoyed that.
Nice.
Should we wrap this one up?
Yeah. Next week, I would have played Silent Hill. And when is the 24th? What date is that?
Next
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Tokyo Game Show is kicking off, and Capcom is having their 40-minute presentation of their 12 million games on Wednesday. So Thursday, I'll talk about that too because I'm watching it live at 7 a.m.
7 a.m. Woo-hoo.
Yeah.
Easy.
There's so many games. It's just a slideshow. It's not trailers. There's just like slide.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. It's Pragmata, Monster Hunter Stories 3, Onimusha, and then they're talking about Monster Hunter Wilds update.
Nice.
So
All right,
they
guys.
shadow drop
Game
it.
show.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thank you all for joining us. Have a wonderful weekend. Be safe out there. We'll see you next week.
See ya.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
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 Bye.